नमस्ते, हरे कृष्णा एवरीवन। कैसे हैं आप सब?
ठीक है मैम, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you.
Fine, ma'am.
Okay, let's everyone sit in a comfortable posture. Make your back straight. Lift your organic body up. Lift your shoulder blades up. Roll back and relax. Elbows towards your body. Palms up towards the ceiling. Once you are comfortable, gently close your eyes. No sound during inhale and exhale. बिल्कुल धीमा गहरा लंबा श्वास. Slow, deep, long inhale. Slow, deep, long exhale. Slowly, mind is being withdrawn from the external world. Slowly, secondly, from the body. And finally, from the mind itself. Only you and your breath.
हाँ ठीक है, अब देखिए सुन पाए इसने तो और भी बंद कर दिया।
Now join your palms together in front of your chest. You can chant with me or you just feel the vibrations. Inhale. One more. Inhale. Now relax. Hands on your lap. Palms up towards the ceiling. Shoulder fully relaxed. Eyes still closed. आंखें बंद रखेंगे. बिल्कुल धीमा गहरा लंबा श्वास लेंगे. First, start your abdominal and your thoracic breathing. So left hand on your belly, उल्टा हाथ पेट पर, सीधा हाथ छाती पर. बिल्कुल धीमा गहरा लंबा श्वास. सांस लेंगे, पूरा पेट फुलाएंगे, छाती फुलाएंगे. सांस छोड़ेंगे. Relax your rib cage. Draw your belly in towards the spine. सांस लेंगे, बिल्कुल धीमा गहरा लंबा श्वास और पूरा पेट फुलाएंगे. श्वास छोड़ेंगे, पेट अंदर. आंखें बिल्कुल बंद रखना है. बिल्कुल धीमा गहरा लंबा श्वास. Now with my count. Inhale 1, 2, 3. श्वास छोड़िए. 3, 2, 1. सांस भरिए. 1, 2, 3. सांस छोड़िए. 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Few more. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Hands on your lap, palms up, shoulder relax. Eyes still closed, आंखें नहीं खोलना है. Just feel the sensations going throughout your body. Breathe in deeply and breathe out slowly and deeply. Gently open your eyes. Now, we are doing Nadi Shodhan or alternate nostril breathing. Make a left hand Jnana Mudra. So, index finger and thumb will make a circle. Rest 3 fingers together. Rest the dorsal part on your thigh. Right hand in a Vishnu Mudra. First 2 fingers closed. Open your thumb, ring, and your little finger. So, use your thumb and your ring finger. Close your right nostril with your thumb. Inhale from the left. बिल्कुल धीमा गहरा लंबा श्वास. Close your left nostril with your ring finger. Remove the thumb. Exhale from the right. Inhale from the right. Close your right with your thumb. Remove the ring finger. Exhale from the left. And so on. Same. Inhale from the left. Close your left. Exhale from the right. Inhale from the right. Close your right. Exhale from the left. Very slowly. बिल्कुल धीमा गहरा लंबा श्वास. अभी कोई काम नहीं, सिर्फ आंखें बंद और श्वास पे ध्यान. बिल्कुल धीमा गहरा लंबा श्वास लेंगे. उतने ही धीमे गहरे लंबे श्वास को जाने देंगे. बीच बीच में आंखें नहीं खोलना है. बिल्कुल धीमा श्वास लीजिए. आप देखेंगे धीरे धीरे खुद से ही आपका टाइम इंटरवल इनहेल एक्सहेल का डीप हो रहा है, बढ़ रहा है. आपको बिल्कुल धीमा श्वास लेना है, बस आवाज नहीं आनी चाहिए. Just simply watch your breath. How you inhale, how you exhale. Do not try to control your breath. Just simply watch your breath. With each inhale, feel the expansion in your belly, expansion in your ribcage from the front, from
Yeah, I think Dr. Neha has a network issue. Just 1 second.
Deep, long inhale. Thoughts might crop up. It's absolutely fine. Don't judge your thoughts. Just command your mind. Right now, you are healing. If your mind wanders here and there, bring it back to your breath. Only and only you and your breath. सिर्फ आप और आपकी श्वास. Once you fully exhale from the left, then relax, but don't open your eyes. धीमे से श्वास को लेफ्ट से छोड़ेंगे, रेस्ट करेंगे. Hands on your lap, palms up, shoulder fully relaxed. आंखें बंद रखेंगे, कंधे ढीले. Very slow inhale, slow exhale. Now, with each inhale, just chant in your mind. So, and with each exhale, hum. तो अब जितनी बार आप श्वास भरेंगे, अपने मन में आपको बोलना है सो. जब आप श्वास छोड़ेंगे तो धीमे धीमे हम. With each inhale, just chant in your mind. So, with each exhale, hum. Only you and your breath. Just listen the sound of inhale and exhale. Very slow inhale with so sound, and with exhale hum sound. Just listen the natural sound of inhale and exhale. And remember, with each inhale, your belly out, your chest expand. And with each exhale, relax your ribcage, draw your belly in. Listen the sound with inhale, so, and with exhale, hum. So, with inhale, hum with exhale. So, with inhale, hum with exhale. Very slow. बिल्कुल धीमा गहरा लंबा श्वास. Simply watch your breath with so sound and hum. Few more rounds. Now fully exhale and relax. Now move your toes, move your fingers. Bend your elbows, lift your hands up and rub your palms. Once you feel the warmness, do cupping on your eyes. One more round. Rub your palms. Once you feel the warmness, do cupping on your eyes. Now make a leaf with your palms. You can chant with me or after me. Karage Vasate Lakshmi. I repeat. Karage Vasate Lakshmi. Kar Madhya Saraswati. कर मध्य सरस्वती. कर मूले तू गोविंदा. कर मूले तू गोविंदा. प्रभाते कर दर्शनम. Gently open your eyes with a smile. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your breath. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Dr. Neha.
Thank you,
Thank
Tanvi.
you.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Krishna.
A very good morning to all of you. The start of our day 3, and quite a peaceful start yet again with Dr. Neha. So we shall begin our day now, and day 3 is again full of an exciting set of sessions. And yesterday was all about developing others in our teams, and all the themes were around that element of 7 talents of a leader. Today we will start our day by learning, how to develop ourselves by positive self-talk and mindfulness, taken by Dr. Nikita Prabhakar, who is our in-house psychologist at Amity University. Followed by, we will learn about nurturing the accountability. BSF doesn't need to learn about how to, practice accountability, but how to nurture it. How to nurture accountability and ownership will be taken by Dr. Latangi. This will be followed by developing a solutions oriented mindset, taken by Dr. Bhavna Kumar. And we will end our day by our expert session by the renowned scientist from DRDO, Dr. Silvamurthy, who is also a director at Amity University, and he will be taking a session on leadership in the age of AI. How can we prepare our leadership in the age of fast growing technology? So, without much ado, we will start the day for today. One important announcement. So, we will be taking the group photograph today as well. Just so that we don't miss out anybody. The first photograph will be taken at the beginning of the break, which is at 45. And when you are back from the break around 11, we will take another photograph. So the reason we are taking it on Wednesday is that before we end the session, we can capture everybody. And if we miss anybody out, we can get that due in time, and we can inform you accordingly, and we can take one photo tomorrow as well. So let me introduce Dr. Nikita. Dr. Nikita is already here with us. I can see her here. Yes. Good morning, Dr. Nikita. Yeah. You can settle down and get comfortable. I'll just introduce you shortly. Dr. Nikita Prabhakar is a practicing counseling psychologist at Amity University, Noida. She has a bachelor's in psychology from Delhi University and master's in clinical psychology from Banasthali University. She is a certified REBT and NLP practitioner from Albert Ellis Institute, New York. She has previously worked with schools, college students, and many reputed hospitals as well. She has extensive experience in organizing faculty development programs and training sessions with many mental health organizations. She will be helping you, our DIGs, out with learning a little bit more about mindfulness. Over to you, ma'am. Yeah, Dr. Nikita, you'll have to unmute yourself. Yeah, you'll get a pop-up. Yes.
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good morning.
Very good morning.
I have to share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, visible, please.
Not yet, Doctor.
Is it visible?
Visible, visible.
Visible.
Yes,
Okay.
now it's yes, it's
Okay.
visible.
So, first of all, a very good morning to all the DIGs present over here. And as Tanvi has already given the introduction, so first of all, I like to extend my heartiest gratitude to all my officers present over here for.
Hello,
Hello.
ma'am. Your share screen not visible.
Sorry.
Your share screen not visible, ma'am.
Presentation is not visible.
Presentation not visible, ma'am.
Same
Yeah,
here,
only
ma'am.
your face is
Same here.
visible right now. We can just see you,
Not
not
visible,
the
please.
presentation.
Is it visible now?
No,
No,
ma'am.
presentation is not visible.
1 second. No?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Now it's
no,
visible
no.
and yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's full screen.
All right. Thank you. So, first of all, I like to start the session with a little bit of small shlok in Hindi, and I would like to dedicate this shlok to all our officers who are present over here. अपनी नींदों को त्याग करके हमें चैन की नींद सुलाने वालों, अपने प्राणों को न्यौछावर कर हमारी रक्षा करने वालों वीरों को हम शत शत नमन करते हैं। जब जब भी हमारी धरती पर संकट के बादल छाए हैं, इन वीर शहीदों ने जाबाजी से दुश्मनों से लड़कर बड़ी कुशलता के सामने से किया है और हमारी धरती माँ की रक्षा की है। So with that note, Jai Hind to all the officers, and the today's session is going to be on positive self-talk and mindfulness. So, me being a practicing counseling psychologist, I would like to give a brief of what is going to be held in the session today. So, when we talk about positive self talk and mindfulness together, so I feel that positive self talk is an internal state of mind, right? And positive self talk cannot be created when we are not in a mindful mood and when we are not having mindfulness in our day to day routine. And who can better understand being positive than all our officers present over here, because at this leadership post you have to keep your mindset positive as well as the subordinates mindset positive as well. But we have to understand a small thing over here, that for creating and radiating positivity within ourselves and outside, it is very very important to understand how can we create that in a day-to-day routine. And the best part to create that positive self-talk is through mindfulness. So, we'll have a mindfulness revisited today for the agenda of the session. Then we look at about how the autopilot mode of mindfulness works. What are the mindfulness foundations? How can we inculcate mindfulness eating and mindful attitude in our day-to-day routine? And then we'll go a little bit about the body scan, which we will do over here, and how can we create mindfulness and certain tips about that. So, when we talk about mindfulness, I would like to ask my officers over here that, as per you, what mindfulness is? How do you define mindfulness?
सोच समझ के किसी बात का जवाब देना।
जी, ठीक है, सोच समझ के किसी बात का जवाब देना। ओके, fair enough.
human mind full of various ideas, because it cannot be idle. There will be various ideas there, and striking the mind always.
Okay.
So that state, I am trying to say, that state of various ideas in the human mind may be termed as mindfulness.
Absolutely.
Mindfulness is basically remaining present in the moment.
Right. A little absolutely technically mentioned, sir. Very, very well mentioned. Basically, mindfulness is staying in the present moment,
Yes,
and
this is
right.
the state of being conscious or aware of something. Actually, this is the mindfulness.
Right. The state of being aware, the state of being conscious, the state of being in the present moment. Very well said, sir. Perfect. Anyone else would like to give their deliberations on this? Okay. So, as you all said, mindfulness, as rightly said by all of you, is basically awareness of the present moment, right? That means how much aware are we in the present moment? So, I just like to play a little audio on that. Just let me know if you're able to hear it or not.
Just as exercise helps us take care of our bodies, mindfulness is a skill that keeps our minds
audible?
healthy.
Is audible.
Helps us perform at our best and better navigate the inevitable ups and downs of life. Mindfulness is noticing and being curious about what's happening right now. It's the opposite of being on autopilot, when our bodies are doing one thing and our minds are somewhere else, often thinking about the past or worrying about the future. When we're mindful, we engage our senses deliberately and we really take in the things that we can see, smell, hear, taste, and touch. Just as we can build our muscles by going to the gym, we can build our mindfulness muscle through regular practice, known as meditation. All it takes is a few minutes a day to see the benefits. So find the time. Your mind will thank you for it.
Right. So, as said in the video, also mindfulness is basically the awareness of the present moment, as you all said. That how much are we aware in the present moment, right? And we can do this thing by using our senses and fully engaging in the conscious mind to attend to whatever we are doing. As it was said that it is an opposite of something which is called an autopilot mode, right, where our minds are doing one thing and our bodies are doing something else. So mindfulness is something where we can take time to notice with curiosity our feelings, thoughts and responses, and senses allow us to fully experience it. So what is going in the present moment, how are we are going to feel it, that we are going to feel with our feelings, with our thoughts, with the responses, and using our senses to fully experience the present moment. And this will connect you with the world and to yourself and provide us with a space to process what is happening. So, as it is said, that mindfulness is something which we are going to be aware about what's going in the present moment. And it is not only connecting to our own self, but also to the world outside, right, and providing us a space of what is happening. So when we
Just as
when we talk about being in an autopilot mode where our bodies are doing one thing and our mind is doing something else, so it is without awareness. We are not aware about what is happening in around ourselves, right? So that is the autopilot mode. Secondly, it's going to be very unintentional. We are not intentionally paying it. It's very unintentional in nature and very unconscious. We are not aware about what is happening, right? We are just living. We are not just being in the present moment, and we are going to react. It is very reactionary, so we are going to react on the autopilot mode rather than responding. So there is a difference between reaction and responding that way. So it is reactionary in nature. And being an autopilot mode, if it's like effortlessly we are doing it, right? We are not putting our conscious intentions into it, so it is very effortless. So, apart from that, first of all, we have to learn about the basic foundations of how can we inculcate mindfulness. Mindfulness can be inculcated with a very important thing of a non-judgmental attitude. If we are going to judge people around us, that this person is doing certain kind of performance and he or she is just like this. So that ways mindfulness cannot be created, to not even to ourselves or others. So we have to have a non-judgmental attitude about self and others. Then patience. Again, it is very important that we should have a patience to understand and listen and just respond, not react immediately. Then it is a beginner's mind. So a very important thing about understanding mindfulness is beginner's mind. Let's start from being a beginner, that we have to inculcate being in the present moment with a clean slate. Let's not think about anything that we know from the past or we are anticipating about the future. It's from a very fresh beginner's mindset. So we can inculcate that through it. Trust. Mindfulness can only be created when we are trusting ourselves and the people around us. If we are having trust issues, or we are not able to understand what the other person is saying or what we are understanding, then trust cannot be built in. Then non-striving. We don't have to be always on a striving mode, that we have to strive for something, right, all the time. It sometimes has to be a little at the present and a non-striving mode. Then acceptance. The very important thing for understanding mindfulness is sometimes we are not accepting about what is going in the present moment. Either we are ruminating, our thoughts are ruminating in the past ki, certain kind of thing has happened, or we are anticipating the future, or this is going to be the future plan or whatever. So accepting the present is very important for understanding mindfulness. Then letting go, so that we don't take any grudges, or we don't have anything of that this thing has hurt me a lot. We have to let go of all the negative emotions, all the negative attitude that we are having about self or others. So with all these seven foundations, we can understand how can we build mindfulness. So there's a very important concept called mindful eating. So I feel that mindfulness is not something which is a present state of mind which can be created, in a day or so. Mindfulness is something like we are doing yoga, which we do every day, as we just all did it in the morning, right? So there is a very important concept of mindful eating, where we can eat also mindfully. So there are very small things about how can we create mindfulness. So with eating, we can create by enjoying the taste of the food that we eat, right? We are just not eating for fulfilling our stomach or fulfilling our, ki bas khana hai, just for its sake of eating. No, we're eating and enjoying the taste of the food as well. Then eat when hungry and stop when full. Sometimes we are feeling that, this is something which I really like to eat and this is my favorite dish. So we keep on eating that. That's not mindful eating, right? So when we are full, we need to stop it. Then learn how food affects your mood and energy. Because whatever we eat, बोलते हैं ना, जैसा खान वैसा आपका mindset भी वैसा ही होता है. So whatever food we are going to eat, right, and how we are going to eat, the most important thing is how we are eating the food. It is eventually going to affect our mood in general and our energy levels, which are all time going to be high, right? If we enjoy what we are eating, then notice emotional choices. Whatever emotional choices we are taking in our day-to-day routine, we should take a time to notice them, right? If we don't notice the choices that we are making, I don't think so it's something which we call it mindful eating. Then we all have cravings, right? And sometimes having cravings is always fine, but if we have to understand mindful eating, we have to control those cravings. Our mind is always saying, our heart is always saying to eat the things which are, sometimes not good for our health. But if we have to do mindful eating, we have to control the cravings which we have. Sometimes it's okay, but not usually happening. Then improve relationship with food. See, it is very important to understand, for building any relationship with even a human or with any person, we have to work on that. So, if you want to improve the relationship with food, that what we are eating, how we are eating, is the food going to affect my energy levels, the mood? So, we have to improve our relationship with the food that we eat. If we don't eat, improve that relationship by healthy eating, then there is no probable choices of understanding the importance of mindful eating. Then again, as I mentioned, healthier choices. So because obviously you all are placed in different kinds of battalions and all that, so making those choices of food should be a more healthier version for eating mindfully. So that is very important. Now I'm going to discuss certain helpful attitudes to practice mindfulness. So the first attitude that we also learned before was letting go of expectation. I know it is, a little difficult to, inculcate in our day-to-day routine, because we all have a lot of expectation from our subordinates, from our family members, from, the place where we work in. So sometimes we have to let go of certain kinds of unrealistic expectations that we are building within us. So first attitude is that. Second is relaxing effort. Sometimes it's important to just have that relaxing effort for your mind and body. We have to take time to practice what is coming at the present moment and be really compassionate about it. That if this is something is happening, as don't take it as a task that I have to do it, kind of thing, right? It is very important to have it in a relaxed mindset and compassionately doing for self, even not our work, but also if you're delegating some kind of work. That compassion really helps to create a positive aura around us, and help us with that kind of helpful attitude also. Then the last attitude is just notice. Now there is a difference between mindfulness and, attention. So mindfulness is just noticing what is going around you. Sometimes a person goes, passes by, and we don't just notice also that person, because our mind is somewhere else. Our mind is contemplating a lot of things inside our head. So it's very important to notice with our senses what's going around us. It's something which is a healthier version for us. And a very important another concept is the body scan, right? We'll do it over here also with all of you. The benefits of body scan for mindfulness is that it helps us improving the concentration levels around us. So whatever, if you're able to concentrate in our work, our concentration gets really really improved if we start doing body scan, which is inhaling and exhaling exercise of deep breathing. Then it cultivates awareness, that on our day-to-day routine we are getting more aware, and it also heals a lot of stress. So I just want to ask that how many of you do actually practice some kind of deep breathing, or a body scans where you can just inhale and exhale and relax your body on daily basis? And
I
how
also
we
do
do
it.
that? Yes, sir.
It
See, basically
really,
pranayam.
it,
Pranayam. Today we had session similarly at 5 to 10 minutes. I try to do.
Okay, okay, okay. That's
I regularly do the asan, pranayam, and vyayam, all the three things of yoga, and it
right.
helps a lot in improving the concentration, awareness, everything.
So you have made it a daily routine, sir?
Yes, daily routine. I've even made, if even I'm in 5 minutes, then a syllabus of 5 minutes, syllabus of 10 minutes, syllabus of 15 minutes, syllabus of half an hour. Then on Saturday, Sundays, when holidays there, then syllabus of 1.5 hour, 2 hours, like that.
That's wonderful, sir. That's something which is really great. And do you feel any kind of difference in your body and mind if you're doing it on daily basis?
Certainly, a lot of that stamina is also there.
Mm,
Beside that, mental concentration, as well as that enthusiasm, it always remains. And
right.
whenever I'm doing something, then the tiredness is not there. Concentration is quite good.
Mm, right, right, right. That's really certain, sir, because actually all these things help us not at the at the from the grassroots level, but also helps us to heal in multiple ways, whether it's physical healing or mental healing. So it really helps a lot. So thank you so much for sharing your inputs on that, sir. And apart from that, body scan also helps us to have a greater capacity to listen to its wisdom, because we all feel that a lot of wisdom is there within us and outside our own self. So it is very important for understanding the capacity that we all do have at certain level. And if you're doing this body scans on daily basis and practice the basic mindfulness, then it is actually very helpful for us. So when we talk about a concept called mindfulness triangle, so there are three things that should be mentioned and understood when we are practicing mindfulness. So these are called faculties, right? There are three faculties for practicing mindfulness. One is through attention, then second is intention, and third is reflection. So when we talk about these faculties, what is actually a faculty? Faculty is nothing but a normal power of functioning of the mind. That means how much we are able to perceive the sensory stimulus around us, right? How much we are able to take that into ourselves and function in a very conscious state of mind. So the first mindfulness faculty is attention. If we want to practice mindfulness on a day-to-day basis, it is very important to pay first of all attention. जैसे हमने पहले कहा था, simply notice, right? So simple definition is basically noticing or being aware about it or listening to or watching something. Even it can be listening to some nice audio or relaxation music or watching something which you really like to watch. So, in our day to day basis, it is very important for us to pay attention to something which is going around us, and it creates a lot of awareness as well. Sometimes our mind is so much cluttered with a lot of work tension or family issues or family tension that we don't pay attention to a lot of things. So when we do that, it's really something which is very helpful for us. Second is intention, right? Intention basically means wahi, that aim or purpose. So basically, there should be a good intention with doing it, right? That we aim to do that, we really want to do, right? So directed attention to an activity is intention. So if you have intention, if जैसे बोलते हैं ना नियत होना, so basically, if you have a purpose or an aim, that is simply called an intention which is directed towards any kind of activity if we are practicing mindfulness. Then reflecting, it's a very beautiful process. First is attention, then is we have to be intended about it, and then we reflect. So reflection is something which we call as introspection in psychology. So reflection is a thought occurring in meditation that you all just do in the morning, and sir has mentioned that you sir also do it on a very daily basis. So basically it is something which is a careful consideration of something that we are introspecting in our mind, and just even deep breathing, that we are inhaling from the nose and exhaling from the mouth, and we are just introspecting and paying attention to our deep breaths. So that is also reflection. So reflection is very important. So if we have to practice mindfulness, these three components are something which is called as basic. So we have to first pay attention to this, right? Then intentionally we have to find a purpose, and we have to reflect also that what is going on. And the reflection, best way to do is through meditation. When we are meditating, the best thing that happens to us are that we are paying attention to all our reflexes, to all our mind. And sometimes I don't know how many of you actually practice in on daily basis, but I want to ask some of you that how many of you practice meditation, sir?
Me too. In fact, I almost half an hour go for praying, and it is basically to get detached from what is happening around. So you go in full meditation. I mean, this is some sort of make your mind peaceful. It is also again some sort of, this is not only the religious activity. You are putting your mind into the deep meditation.
So, sir, I want to ask you something. Then, while you are meditating, does any kind of thought also come into you?
No. Just get detached from what is happening around.
Okay. So, any kinds of thought also come in your head about the family or
It
issue?
keep on coming to, but you are supposed to get detached. That is what meditation.
Right.
It
So
is
you're
some sort of bombardment every time, even if you are speaking and if you are not, present in the present moment.
भाई कोर्स नहीं कर रहे हो?
Pardon?
कैमरा ऑफ करके कोर्स नहीं कर रही है तुम?
तो मैं bombardment पीछे हमेशा होता रहता है. तो आपको उससे detach होना है.
Bilkul, exactly. That's what absolutely sir said, that those thoughts will keep on us and keep on bombarding us with a lot of things happening around us about our personal or professional life. But the important thing is how can we get over it? Yes, sir. You have to say something?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kamaljit, your mic is on.
Okay.
Ma'am, I have to say a point that I don't go in for some structured sort of thing that I'm sitting there and meditating, but I do spend time with myself and focus on my body and all that. And now I don't have to sit aloof and do it. While working also, we can focus on ourselves and control our thoughts. The thoughts keeps on coming. The moment you try
Right.
to control your mind is very naughty. It will run left and right. But then again, we have to focus on ourselves, our internal body, to keep the other thoughts out. That's what
Right.
I'm experienced, though it's not anything structured.
Right. No, sir, it's not structured, but what you are saying is really scientific also, because we also say that in psychology that we have a monkey mind. Just आपने बोला ना, the mind is very naughty. So we have a monkey mind that keeps on chirping and going here and there. And you rightly said, sir, that it is not important to just practice mindfulness through meditation. You can do it while you're working also. Absolutely rightly mentioned, sir, which we call as mindfulness that we can do on everyday basis, not something giving a particular time to it. So
No,
it's
I believe, ma'am, that one can meditate through regular activities like driving, gardening also.
right,
Whatever
right,
whatever puts you away from and gets you a focus at one place, or
right.
where you are doing things as a drill and enjoying it when you are relaxed. So that is also kind of meditation. You don't need to properly sit down and do all that kind of thing. It's not necessary.
And
Thank you.
that's what is said as mindful meditation, sir. So, as sir was saying, there is no structure, but actually, it is called mindful meditation where you're working also and you are concentrating on your mind, muscles, and everything. So, that's something which we actually call as mindfulness that we have to, do on daily basis. That all of you are practicing. That is something really great, sir. So, when we are talking about mindfulness for BSF, right? So, mindfulness training is something that is a practice of training your brain to stay in the present moment, right? And offers many benefits also. Practicing mindfulness obviously can help us relax ourselves, not only the mental relaxation, but also the physical relaxation. Like, it also helps us to lower our blood pressure levels, also helps us to sleep better, become more focused and more alert, right? So we call it tune in to our body to perform better. So we have to tune in this to our body so that we can perform better and improve our relationships also. Because having a relationship professionally, personally, and maintaining that is very, very important. So not only it helps us to maintain our mind and body, but a lot of other things like a relationship, because our mood will be happy. So if we'll be in the happy mood, obviously we'll have a good relation with our work friends and even our family members. And not only that, it is very important to understand, it also helps us to get a physical benefits like our blood pressure and sleep patterns. Then in military environment, mindfulness training can also enhance your ability to perform at your best shot in garrison during training and in theater time. It can also help reduce pain and stress related to post deployment and post traumatic stress disorder and improve our control impulses, because obviously that can be very related to you all, that it helps us to improve the relaxation and our sleep patterns, our blood pressure, for helps us to focus at the time of post deployment, and also when we are having issues with post traumatic stress, then it reduces our pain and issues that we're having, and also our impulse control. There are a lot of impulses which comes, but when we are practicing mindfulness, we actually control our impulses on daily basis also. Then apart from that, mindfulness during training is also something which is an experience which is important to understand, that in training environment, mindfulness helps the warfighter stay safe while learning with new skills and tactics. This also aids with memory and recall on difficult tests and qualifications. And for best example, warfighters need to be able to block out the distractions and tune into their physiology to help the best shooting task for weapons qualification. So not only are we tune in or train our body, but also our mind. Our cognitive functioning also gets very improved. Then managing our mind and body performance, anxiety during stage of evaluations is crucial for being able to fire a weapon accurately and consistently. Then apart from it, mindfulness is also helpful in theater, like your situational awareness is enhanced by mindfulness in a compact environment too. Like mind is wandering and judging an experience, which can create unnecessary stimuli and which can also actually help us in not performing and connecting with or accomplishing task also. So war fighters are less lethal and less resourceful and compact when their minds wander and they're able to fully focus on a situation. So mindfulness training in theater is very, very helpful for relatively when we are dealing with short periods of time like 8 hours or over 8 weeks, which can improve the focus in military service members as well. And it also helps to keep our mind from wandering here and there and have a fewer relapses in a performing when we are given a task. Apart from it, when we are dealing with any situation which is very volatile or very complex situation, we have generally a lot of sensory overload. So what helps is when we are developing mindfulness, we also develop a lot of tolerance for such kind of environment which are really uncertain and very complex environment. And majorly when participants use the mindfulness training, they have higher tolerance in dealing with different temperatures also, because obviously being in BSF, when you're dealing with it, so you a lot of into this thing has people go into the higher altitudes and the temperature, and they actually report of feeling the pain. So when we are following the mindfulness training, our tolerance level gets really high if we are able to practice that on daily basis. And also they also enable to endure the heat stimuli for longer durations. So anyone can just share their experience where any of your commandants do actually ask you for tips and training things for how can they tolerate higher altitudes and temperature. Any experience any of you have, sir, which you can share with us?
I'll want to contribute in this.
Yes, sir.
This pranayama, especially in high altitude, they are due to the minus temperature, and also the pressure is also very high air pressure. Due to that, breathing problems normally occurs at high altitude.
Right.
And there, this pranayama, it helps a lot. And when I was there at Niru, along with Virdi sir, who is still is also present in this particular session, there at high altitudes we used to do regularly this pranayama sessions in the morning, and this pranayama, it helps a lot. That only I want to contribute.
Right, right, right. Thank you so much for sharing that. Actually, sir, what as you mentioned, the breathing exercises, the pranayam, which we call as progressive muscle relaxation exercises, helps us to endure with a lot of heat stimuli which is happening. And not only that, also it also helps us to cope with difficult emotions or something issues we're having with communications also with our colleagues or family or subordinates. Apart from that, transition from military life to home life, obviously, because when you are at the field, so it's very important for understanding and maintaining the balance of home life also. So you wouldn't be alone if you notice that some of your stress that comes with military life at times spills over on how you communicate and focus to attention of family and friends also. So, mindfulness can help you become more present with the family members and help you notice and re engage when you're not communicating in the best way. So sometimes when we are busy with our work schedules or with the meetings and everything, it is something which is very important for connecting with the family life also, right? And sometimes we are not able to give the amount of time, or we are not able to understand or notice a lot of things which is happening around, but actually when we are practicing this on daily basis, it really helps us out. So, I would like to ask any of you that, when you're dealing with situations like this with your family or at the professional front is one thing, but at the family front, how do you deal with issues when the family
Ma'am,
members
one
come?
question, ma'am. This is regarding last slide. Is what is transgenic? I think, yeah,
Yes.
autogenic training. Autogenic training. What is that?
Okay, so sir, and when we are practicing mindfulness meditation, there are a lot of training issues and training things that is there. So it happens in stages. That is also again a breathing techniques, right? Then how we should breathe in a particular way, and how can we create that particular vibrations for understanding our muscle relaxations. So it is also a kind of a mindfulness training. I'll share the link also, sir, if it's available with me, of photogenic training, that it is also something related to mindfulness meditation in terms of breathing exercises only, which is focused on in terms of uh, you know uh, breathing uh, in a very technical way, that how can you breathe for creating relaxation of specific muscles in your body. So that we call as autogenic training, sir. I'll share the link of that also at the end of the session. I also have some videos on this, so I'll share the link at the end of the session also, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so now apart from that, we will discuss certain kinds of myths that people do have about meditation or mindfulness exercises. So we are going to discuss a little bit myths about mindfulness or meditation.
There are lots of myths about meditation, like you have to sit cross legged on the floor, you have to stop thinking, it requires a huge time commitment, or it's only for people who aren't coping. None of these are true. Meditation is easier than you may think. You stop, place your attention on one thing, like your breath, and try to hold it there. When you become distracted, which you will, simply notice and bring your attention back. Becoming distracted doesn't mean that you've stopped meditating. Losing focus and refocusing over and over again is meditation. You can also practice mindfulness by bringing your full attention to everyday activities, like brushing your teeth or eating your lunch. Mindfulness isn't hard. The hardest part is remembering to do it and doing it regularly. Find a way of being mindful that you enjoy and practice as often as you can.
So, as we mentioned over here, and all of you has mentioned that a lot of things, that meditation is not just crossing with the crossed legs and doing focusing and just doing the pranayam. It is something which we can do on daily basis, like while we are brushing our teeth, or we are working, or we are making our breakfast, or we are talking to somebody. So it is something that we can do on everyday basis, right? So that's what we call as a mindful day thing. So when we talk about a mindful day, it is something that we practice mindfulness like a mindful bath. Even when we are taking a bath, we can practice mindfulness. Now, it's something which is, might be taken aback, that how can you practice while you're bathing? So basically, it is only noticing to the things that while we are bathing. So how is the temperature of the water, how that feels to our body, right? So it is something that mindfully we are aware of taking a bath also, not like fatafat ekdam say, we take a bath and just rush to our work. So that is not a mindfulness bath. Then mindful meditation, that obviously we have understood. Mindful eating, that sir was also mentioning about that, that while we're eating also, we can eat mindfully, enjoying each and every taste of the bite that we are taking. It is also actually very scientifically proven that when we are eating mindfully, our brain and the mind also functions in a more positive outlook towards thing, and our cognitive reactions or cognitive functioning also gets better when we are doing mindful eating. Our concentration improves, our a lot of things does actually helps us while we are mindfully eating. Then mindful traveling also, that if we are traveling somewhere, then we should be mindful about it. As you always it is said that the destination is not important, the journey is important, right? How we are enjoying that journey, how we are going, how much we are able to be in the present moment and notice the things around us. So that's called mindful traveling. Then mindful at work with compassion, just working at and at our workplace also is something, but mindfully working, that means we are compassionate about what we are doing, is very important. Even if we are taking a meeting, how compassionately we are taking a meeting, how compassionately we are taking a session is very important. Then apart from it, mindful breathing, as you mentioned, pranayam, like is very important if we include in our day-to-day activities. And there's a way of doing also pranayam, that obviously you do in the morning. And in that, I'll also give my deliberation that in psychology it is called JBMR technique, which is Jacobson Relaxation Meditative Therapy. That is nothing where it is basically a scan only of the body, where we scan each and every muscles of a body, starting from our head going to our toe. So that is also which is very important, which you can follow on daily basis for your body for scanning. So I feel and I recommend that 10 minutes mindful body scanning before going to sleep is very, very essential. So before going to sleep, we should always do it. And we always recommend that why should we do meditation before sleep? There is a scientific reason behind it, that while we are sleeping, our day has finished. So our mind is cluttered with a lot of thoughts, right? Our mind is completely cluttered. So when we are doing a mindful body scanning, we are decluttering our mind, right? We are putting and venting out our thoughts in a very positive, channelized way. So it is very important to go for a mindfulness body scan or a basic small breathing exercises, so that whatever clutter is there in our mind, we can declutter that, right? We can just sleep very, having a very sound sleep. Then there are basic 5 ways which we can follow mindfulness on everyday basis, not giving a specific time, or like, even while we are walking, we can practice mindfulness. Now, how can we practice mindfulness while we are walking? So simply notice how I'm walking, what is my pace of walking, how many steps am I taking, how am I walking too fast or walking too slow. So while you're even walking, your whole attention should be on the walk, not something that I have to take a meeting, or I have something of the family commitments. No, that won't be a mindful walk. Then second is drinking and eating. So while we are drinking something or we are eating the food, as I mentioned, it is very important, and we can practice mindfulness like that also, you know then bathing, we have discussed about that. Then mindfulness at work also, that how can we practice by being mindful at work is by compassionately being in the present moment and working. How I am writing, how I am taking the meeting, if I'm talking, how my words are coming up. So just notice all these sensory thinking. Then the very last thing of practicing mindfulness, mindful listening, because we all are active speakers when it comes to putting our what we have to say. But listening also is very important, which is should be done mindfully, that what the person is speaking, what is the tone and pitch of the person, what is the content the person is sharing. So that is also mindful listening. And mindful listening really helps us to also inculcate a lot of concentration for the person who is at the receiving end also. So all these things are very basic 5 ways of practicing mindfulness. Now, when we talk about happiness, I always say that happiness is a choice. Happiness is that if you choose to be happy, you will be happy. If you choose to suffer, you will suffer. So I feel that mindfulness is a very close relation with happiness and positive talk also. Because if we want to seek happiness beyond the pleasure and the distractions, it is very important to follow mindful things, right? Now see happiness beyond the materialistic world and your physical body, which is actually very well done while we are meditating, or while we are in the introspection mood, or while we are doing a pranayam, which is very, very, actually it brings a smile on your face and it makes your day really happy. Now seek happiness within your personal boundaries, not through your social conditioning. Sometimes what we are doing is that we all of us make certain personal boundaries for our professional and personal relationship. So we have to seek happiness within our personal boundaries, and not seek going through the social conditioning, that what people are saying, what others are getting, how people are conditioned to do, right? So we all have made our personal boundaries, and we should seek happiness within those boundaries, rather than going through and peeping into the social conditioning of the world outside. Then the next thing is strengthening the sense of self and grounding to reach happiness. So in psychology, we always say about the grounding techniques that we can discuss over here also. Grounding techniques are basic techniques where it is 5 4 3 2 1 technique, where 5 things we have to see, 4 things we have to hear, 3 things we have to observe or smell, right? So these are called grounding techniques for reaching happiness. So when we are actually relating to a sense of self, or we are developing our self esteem, or we are developing our self introspection, being and the ground is very important for reaching happiness, right? Understanding and observing and noticing from the ground level is very important. Then open to happiness and embrace it fully as long as it lasts. So sometimes we have to understand that if you want to have a, if you want to achieve happiness, if you want to accomplish that, it is very important for us to embrace it. Because most of the time we don't embrace what we are having in our hands, right? We always look for something which we don't have. So it always comes when we are embracing and we are being having gratitude, of what we have in the present routine. So I always say to my patients, my clients, my student, that always make a gratitude journal. That there are a lot of things that we are actually grateful for our in our day to day activities. So we can always embrace those gratitude things in our day to day routine as well. Then there are basic 5 tips that I'd like to discuss for living mindfully. Is one, do one thing at a time. No, now I don't know how much of you will agree to it, but people usually have a tendency to multitask, and probably we feel that we cannot work if we are not multitasking. But if we talk about mindfulness, it is always saying doing one thing at a time. Because if we are doing a lot of things at one point of time, we will not be able to pay attention to the small things of how should it be done. Then the second thing is paying attention to what you are doing. Again, if we are doing a particular work, we have to give all our attention. As I discussed the 3 faculties, we have to discuss, give all the attention to the things that is going around us. When the mind wanders, bring it back. As you were saying, while we are doing meditation, जैसे sir ने भी हमें बताया that we a lot of bombarding thoughts come into our head. So our mind is wandering. It's a monkey mind, right? बहुत कुछ thoughts आते हैं जब हम meditate करते हैं, जब हम प्राणायाम करते हैं. So if it is happening, it's okay. Don't try to repress those thoughts that मुझे नहीं सोचना, मुझे नहीं सोचना. If it's happening, just pay attention to those thoughts and bring your attention back to what you are doing, right? Because I feel that if you're trying to repress the thoughts a lot, which is coming at the time of meditation, it actually distracts us much more. So if there is a lot of bombarding thoughts, just pay attention and let it go off and bring your attention back to what you are doing. Then repeat the 5 billion times plus plus. So basically it's a technique where we have to just focus our attention to certain things which is going at the present moment. So this is the 5 billion times technique. Now investigate distractions. As I just mentioned, that there will be definitely a lot of distraction while we are meditating, or while we are doing pranayama, or while we are practicing mindfulness. You just investigate while you're done your meditation, that what are the distractions that I'm continuously having. Because the more we are aware about the distraction and we accept them, the way we can work on it. So I don't know, I just want to know from your perspective that how many of you believe in the fact of doing one thing at a time and not multitasking too much.
I also agree to it that one thing should be done at a time. Like I will give an example. At times, number of times we see that people, they are going out on morning walk. Okay, while they are walking, they will also talk on their mobile also. Now that type of walking, I think it will not be a mindful walking,
Right.
because we will not derive that much of benefit out of that morning walk.
Right, right. So we are getting distracted from our basic goal, right? And that cannot happen, sir. Absolutely well said, sir. Correct.
मैंने मैडम बहुत लोगों को देखा है सवेरे से शाम तक घड़ी में अपने जो है ना कितना स्टेप लिया वो काउंट करते रहते हैं. शाम को
जी
आएंगे दे विल से कि 12,000 but
जी
12,000 they are roaming around at their duty place, they are roaming around the railway stations or at some places, but that I always tell them that this is not the mindful walk. So when you are walking, you are only walking, that's it. But people, I mean, they keep on counting in their watch कि कितना हो गया सवेरे से अभी तक. But that's not given there.
बिल्कुल सर, एब्सोल्युटली आपने बिल्कुल ठीक बात बोली दैट पीपल काउंट द नंबर ऑफ स्टेप्स व्हाट दे हैव टेकन बिकॉज दे हैव अ गोल टू अचीव, बट दैट इज डेफिनेटली नॉट माइंडफुल वॉकिंग एंड the the advantage or the benefit also is not the same if you're doing mindfully and if you're just counting your steps. I completely agree, sir.
And also yesterday, one of our colleagues was telling that people make out their time for the gym, but when they go to the gym, without except exercising, they do all other things. Then that type of thing is also, I think, not a mindful thing.
Right. Those are all the distractions, sir. So हमारा गोल वही है कि उन distractions से को कैसे हम defeat करके आगे practice कर सकते हैं that what we have to do.
It's not only distraction, madam. It may be motivation also sometimes. Why you go to the gym in the morning. So I mean, it depends upon you how you think because सवेरे सवेरे जल्दी उठ कर सवेरे 5 बजे 6 बजे वॉकिंग करने जाना भी तो कितना बोरिंग है ना, मतलब एवरीडे you
बिल्कुल
can't do
सर,
that.
बिल्कुल right. You need some
One
motivation.
more very much regular which I have seen at number of places in our officer mess and in the family also. Normally, when most of the time people while eating breakfast, lunch, or dinner, they will switch on their TV, or some people they also open their newspaper, drinking tea, and listening to radio. Is listening to radio, I think it doesn't disturb that much, but while eating watching TV, I think it is not that much good, and it is against this mindful eating.
Right.
Ideally, doing one thing at a time is correct. But thing is that life is not ideal. Our routines are not ideal. We are in a race where we need to be moving ahead. And there will be occasion where we will be doing more than one task at a time. So try to do it one thing at a time. But there will be occasion where, say, you are walking and then you got a call. Now,
Right.
you need to talk for a minimum as required, and thereafter you can just say, "I'll make a call to you."
Definitely.
But denying that there is a call is coming, but on the pretext that I'll do only one thing at a time and not attending that call will disturb you more. So issue is it's an excellent thing, living in the present, having mindful, all activities mindful. But there will be occasion where you have to compromise
Right.
and adjust. Thank you.
I completely agree, sir, because there are things which are unavoidable. Obviously, if you're having a call or if a call is scheduled, if somebody is calling which is urgent,
Only thing,
it's
ma'am,
unavoidable.
which we can avoid is don't carry your mobile. This is the biggest distraction.
Here,
And
my request is that if somebody is, but I should not initiate. Here, my request is that if somebody is calling me, I will attend, but I should not initiate any talk from my own side during whatever I am doing. That
Right.
is the.
But then we are
Ma'am,
reacting,
Mr.
isn't it?
Shailesh told, na, like, idealistic, ideally, it is okay that we should be doing our activities mindfully, but the circumstances and the style of our functioning is such that most of the time, although you want to do something mindfully, but it is not happening most of the time. So we need to see where we can avoid distractions, but this is the reality.
True that, sir.
Ma'am, I agree with Mr. Gurjant and Saleh. Time is the reporting time for all of us, all our commanders. So that is the time when you take reports of last 24 hours. So you can say this way that while you are taking report, you are also working.
Right. Sometimes it's tough to manage, sir, but obviously, if there is a lot of work commitments related to us, that is fine. But as I just mentioned, that doing one thing at a time only works out when there are a lot of things which is unavoidable. जैसे sir ने बोला अगर walk पे जा रहे हो, if it's not something important, don't carry your phone. So some things that we can avoid doing certain things, but obviously we can't avoid taking calls if there's something urgent. But I completely agree that we have to investigate what distraction are there and we have to work accordingly, जिसको हम smart work बोलते हैं कि बात भी करनी है और we can mindfully do also. So we need to make a balance of it. So absolutely very well said, sir. Thank you for your deliberation, sir. I really appreciate it. So अब हम जब देखते हैं that if we see our brain, when we are meditating, so when we are on meditation, so before and after meditation, if we physiologically see, there are three parts of the brain, right? The frontal lobe, parietal lobe, and occipital lobe. They have different functioning when we talk about the brain. So before we are doing meditation, all these are the distractions and all these things are happening, which is a lot of issues which is happening around our brain. But after meditation, slowly and gradually these are dissolved. So we are at a level where actually we are introspecting and we are at relaxed mode. So actually meditation or pranayam or practicing mindfulness also is scientifically and physiologically proven that if we do meditation, then our brain also functions in a very different way before and after meditation. So now I would like to have a simple session if you all are ready. This session is called a guided meditation session. So you don't have to do anything. Is everyone okay for this? A small session on guided meditation, sir?
Yes. We are
Yes,
ready.
ma'am.
Yes, thank
Carry
you.
on, Karan, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So there is nothing which. Okay, sir. Thank you. So you just have to sit straight on the chair that you're sitting and keep your hands on your lap or somewhere else and just sit straight. And there is going to be a recording at the going on. You just have to listen to that recording and follow it accordingly. So just keep your back and spine straight and just focus on that.
Find your way into a comfortable seated position. Knees bent, feet on the floor. Sit straight up. You might place a pillow behind your back to keep your spine lengthened. As you settle into your seat, remember that your intention is to practice quieting the mind and letting go of all those things that draw you out of this present moment. So with that understanding, gently set aside your to-do list and all your cares, putting them out of your mind altogether. They will be waiting for you at the end of this session. Close your eyes. Shift your attention away from the noises and sounds going on all around you. Press your tailbone into your seat. Lengthen the spine. Roll your shoulders forward, up to your ears, back, and down, holding them slightly back and slightly down. Lengthen your neck. Lift your ears away from your shoulders. Take some deep breaths into this open space in your lungs. Exhaling fully after each breath drawn in. As you settle in, shift your attention inward and notice areas in the body that may feel tense or tight, or perhaps areas that feel really good. Simply notice them, relaxing muscles as much as possible, making yourself as comfortable as you can while still keeping your spine lengthened. Notice if your mind is drawn out of this moment. That is natural. So when it does, gently but firmly bring it back to this moment without judging yourself. You might have to do this several times. That's okay. You can also bring your awareness to the sensation of the breath coming into and out of the body. Feel the lungs filling up with air and see if you can notice all the muscles used to draw that breath in. Not making too much effort here, just noticing. There is nowhere else to be right now. Nothing else to do. Just breathing, just feeling. As thoughts come, let them come. No need to resist them. Rather, simply acknowledge them and return your attention back to this moment. Breathing in, feeling the breath, breathing out, letting go of the breath. At times, even with the best of intentions, you may notice that your attention has drifted, vanished. You may even fall asleep. No worries. Your mind wandering is natural. Perhaps you're criticizing yourself or wanting to be somewhere else. No matter how appealing it may be to stop or aggravating to sit here, simply notice without judgment. So now, bring your attention back into this place, this breath, this moment, without judging or criticizing. Imagine feeling at ease and letting yourself just be. As you transition to the rest of your day, take a moment to notice how you feel after this experience. Set an intention for the rest of your day to remain as you are now. Know that you can return here anytime you like.
So slowly open your eyes. Just rub your hands and press it up to your eyes. So yes, how many of you did practice it and how was the experience, sir?
Experience was wonderful, and I went into sleep.
Yes, sir. Most of them it's okay. It's perfectly all right.
It was very relaxing and rejuvenating.
Yes, sir.
मैम मैं तो जिम करके आया हूँ, नींद अच्छी आ गई.
It was good.
That's something great. I'll share this if you want to do it afterwards also. I'll share this whole video so that you can practice on daily basis to just relax yourself when you have a hectic day at work or family or professional and personal front. You can just relax yourself for listening this out. So I'll share this also. So okay, so that is all from my end which I have, and that's something which I have discussed. And do you have any questions or you want to ask something?
Yes, I have a question. Is there overdo of mindfulness or too much of mindfulness? And if any, are there any side effects?
See, absolutely, sir. If mindfulness is being overdone, also that is something which is not good for your health. Also, because if you're overdoing it too much, so you're staying too much in the present moment all the time. So a lot of other things are being ignored generally. So overdo of anything is not good. So side effects can be nothing of overdoing mindfulness, but it should be done in a desirable way on daily basis. That's something which is important. So if you do on daily basis and you do for a certain period of time, and that's something, mindfulness is something you can practice every day while you're bathing, while you're eating. So too much of doing of obviously, sir, doesn't have any physiological side effects, but yes, definitely it should be done in a certain way only.
अति
And
सर्वत्र वर्जयते. किसी भी चीज की ज्यादा कुछ भी हो उसे नहीं करना चाहिए.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, अति हर चीज की नहीं अच्छी नहीं होती. बिल्कुल सर. सही बात
Actually, ma'am, we have to incorporate small little hacks for ourselves in day-to-day lives to be
Okay.
more aware, more mindful. You see, when I am with my plants, I am very, very aware and focused. When I am staring at the skies, ideally, again, I am focused. And on a lighter note, you mentioned about monkey mind. So in my
Right.
previous campus, there were lots of monkeys, and I can tell you, you can watch that animal the day long without getting distracted.
करेक्ट सर एक्चुअली इट इट पता नहीं है भगवान ने भी हर किसी क्रिएचर को एक अपनी उसके साथ बनाया है एंड इफ यू एक्चुअली सी द मंकी ना यू विल नेवर गेट लाइक आफ्टर इन अ सेकंड द एक्शन चेंजेस so actually our mind is also like that, you know, a lot of distraction come within seconds, so that's true sir.
किसी चीज का
Anyone?
अति जो है पागलपन होता है, किसी भी चीज का अति पागलपन होता है. एनीथिंग इन एक्सेस इज मैडनेस.
Right, sir. That's true. Too much of anything is not good for health, whether it's too much of good or bad जो भी है, but अति खराब ही होता है. बिल्कुल सर. Anything else you want to ask? Any other questions?
I just have a small question, ma'am, because you are a psychologist. So during interviews, certain interviews, psychologists are kept there for a purpose.
Right.
What all they see in a candidate?
So, sir, if you're talking about something, a psychologist is there in an interview session. So, a lot of things are like non-verbal gestures, non-verbal cues, because a lot of times candidates, you are taking a technical session, right? But what are the posture? What is the gesture? What are the non-verbal cues of the person? The person is trying to say, and even a word also. If a person is repeating too much of a single word, also that is also something which we keep on observing. And sometimes there are a lot of dysfunctional behavior, sir, which an interview panel of a psychologist observes it, right? If something is not fit for the particular job. So if a person is given an interview in DRDO, or a person for BSF is being there, and a psychologist is kept for a reason that, is the person fit for the job, not physically but mentally also. तो जैसे नॉन वर्बल क्यूज बहुत सारे होते हैं जो कई बार कैंडिडेट बोलता नहीं है, so that is the main purpose where a psychologist is kept to understand that person is mentally fit for a job. Or sir, most of the times in interviews now the psychologists have started keeping a paper pencil test also for understanding personality. So there are a lot of tests for, जैसे big 5 टेस्ट होते हैं, उसमें 5 तरीके के personality traits होते हैं, neuroticism, extroversion, introversions. So a lot of paper pencil tests are also been started now in the interview panel, where the psychologist is hired to take those tests and then write a fitness certificate that the person is fit to join a particular job or a particular area. So those are the things.
By the expectation from a candidate by the psychologist for different job will be different.
Right. Whatever the job KRA is there, it would be different, sir, completely. And even the psychologist is kept for that reason specifically only, so that the psychologist can understand, that what are the things that can be beneficial for the organization if they hire them or if they don't hire them. So there would be individual differences. Completely, I agree, sir. Do you have
Madam,
that in your panel, sir, while you're taking the interviews or something there in BSF?
Yes, ma'am. There is provision. Not for all ranks, but for certain ranks, there is a provision.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Achha, madam, for a guidance, I'll ask you something.
Yes, sir. Please.
Like we are telling that being mindful is good. In one way, am I correct if I think that mindfulness means always being on alert so that I do the correct thing? Am I correct like that?
So
Okay. Now,
thank you, sir.
now second part is, if a person is suppose a person is concentrating on his work, whatever he is doing, that means with mindfulness he is doing his duty, like any type of duty, let it be corporate work, any work. Now continuously for a week, when he is mindfully is doing all his work which is assigned to him, also when he is going to house, then also mindfully how he has to do bathing, how he has to conduct with his family, he is doing. Okay. Now, this much of alertness, human being, they need some change. Now, at the end of the Saturday nights, they go for party, and to break the monotony of alertness and mindfulness, if a person goes for like club and then party, to break that monotony, is it correct? Okay, or will it be beneficial or what?
Okay. So, sir, answering your question is that when we are talking about mindfulness, even when at the present, if you are practicing it, so mindfulness doesn't say completely that you have to be always aware of your what you are doing. It just says that you need to be sensory, paying attention to what are the things going around you, right? So it is something which is an opposite of being an autopilot mode, right? That your mind is somewhere else wandering and your body is physically here. So mindfulness says that if you're physically present, so say for example, we take an example of the session right now. So if you're in this LNDP session, so mindfulness is that active listening, active participating, right? So being in the present moment. So that is completely right. Secondly, that you're asking, if you go to a party, obviously we have a monotonous thing that we want to come out of that monotony. And if you're partying, we can be mindful in the party also, sir, because we can be mindful by enjoying in the present moment and not thinking घर जाना है, इस time ऐसे करना है, वो उस time call है मेरी, that I have commitments also. The mindful partying also can be done, sir. That being in the present moment while you're enjoying the party, not thinking about your meetings or your work commitments or any other things at the moment. So mindfulness just simply talks about, if you're in the present, just stay in the present moment, be aware mentally as well as physically. So and we can be aware by using our senses, as you mentioned, right? Like looking at, just by our using our eyes, by sensing, by noticing a lot of things, by hearing it. So mindfulness says it all about that, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Hope it answers your question, sir.
One more, ma'am,
Yes, yes,
if
okay.
you allow, please.
Ji, bilkul, sir. Please go ahead.
This is basically one practical aspect. Like there are many instances where our Jawans, our people, they are involved in dealing with situations where they see dead body, they kill somebody, or they themselves escape some firing and all. So some sort of trauma, one or the other, most of us have already felt it and undergone these. But the thing is that when I was in the UN mission in Kosovo, what I found that in the one incident, some firing took place in the market. Somebody was killed. The person who shot him was trying to escape, and the police person, he catch hold of him. When he was being taken out from the vehicle he was driving, so he got that weapon pointed at this man. He didn't fire. Eventually, he was overpowered, and but that boy, he slapped this policeman. So this was the incident. But what I saw there, that the same evening, a team of psychologists, they came. They talked to this boy, give him at least 2-3 forms to fill about what was he feeling that moment, whether he was angry when he was slapped, what all thought process he underwent that moment. They recorded each and everything. So this person was counseled for, say, around 6 to 7 times, only for one slap. But here in BSF or in armed forces, we see so many gruesome incidents also. We see our people getting killed, committing suicide, some fratricide cases. So my question would be, what type of trauma management and especially in Indian forces, if you are aware, is going on? Is it a structured program, or it is just, I mean, maybe somebody ask, yes, we need to manage trauma of these persons. I just want to know something is happening, because theoretically we are talking to, I mean, so many things,
Right.
but practically are we able to deal with the situation? As I gave an example that only for a slap he was counseled for a week, but it's not happening here. And people carry that baggage, and eventually sometimes they take extreme steps also. So just is something going on or not? That is my question.
Sir, absolutely. First of all, a very good question asked, sir, because when we are talking about working on the grassroots level, right? So we have a lot of cases where there's issues of post-traumatic stress disorder, or issues where somebody has, as you saying, seen a dead body or something happened to them, and then they are going through because of some issues. So if we talk about in the practical sense, not statistically, number theoretically, then things are actually increasing on those ways. जैसे आपने बोला कि 3-4 फॉर्म दे दिए, अब उस टाइम तो इंसान को बात करने की जरूरत है ना. Somebody wants to vent out, not just fill the form right now. So what I feel is things have changed, system has changed in the practical ways now. Now, first of all, the first stage is that you have to talk to the person who is going through some problem. So venting out is very important, right? If a person has gone through a traumatic episode or some kind of past issues, so first of all is venting out the emotions is very important. That is the first step. Second step is finding and identifying what were the issues, underlying issues at the moment. जैसे आपने बताया कि उस टाइम वो गुस्से में थे जब उनको मारा या जैसे भी. तो अगर हम प्रैक्टिकल वेज में बोले सर अब चीजें थोड़ी सी चेंज हो गई हैं, जो थियोरेटिकली चीजें अब वैसी नहीं होती है. ट्रॉमा के लिए ट्रॉमा मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम हैव एक्चुअली इम्प्रूव्ड अ लॉट, and there have been a lot of techniques which has come from trauma management, and I feel that sir any psychologist can't deal with it. There has to be a person which should be specialist of trauma management. जैसे हम बोलते हैं हमारी ग्रीफ काउंसलिंग होती है, तो उसके लिए ग्रीफ काउंसलिंग के लिए स्पेशलाइज्ड साइकोलॉजिस्ट होता है. दैट इफ देयर अ पर्सन गोइंग थ्रू सम काइंड ऑफ ग्रीफ और डेथ ऑफ अ लव्ड वन, नो अदर साइकोलॉजिस्ट, करियर मैनेजमेंट वाले साइकोलॉजिस्ट को आप नहीं लेके आ सकते वो ट्रॉमा मैनेज करने के लिए, तो वो नहीं कर पाएगा. It won't be justifying his or her job for that matter. So I feel that now there has been a specialist in psychology also, where they have a trauma management psychologist where the person is only dealing with trauma management issues of the clients and patients. तो हमारे यहाँ अलग अलग फील्ड है सर, जो सब अलग अलग क्लिनिकल साइकोलॉजिस्ट क्लिनिकल केसेस देखेंगे डिप्रेशन एंजाइटी के. बट ग्रास रूट लेवल पे सर हम देखें और प्रेजेंट सिनेरियो में यस थिंग्स हैव बीन चेंजिंग, और चीजें थोड़ी डेवलप हो गई हैं पहले से, because now the research is coming up with a lot of things.
So ma'am, I just wanted to ask you whether in some department this structure has been created or not, if you are aware.
Sir, to
especially
be
in
very,
armed forces.
in armed forces, sir, because I have a lot of relatives of mine which are really very close relatives who are in army and who are in air force, not in BSF. But sir, जो उतना मैंने उनसे सुना है, जितना I have read in my researches of DRDO and everything, I feel that इतनी जल्दी नहीं हो रहा है sir. It is taking time, and the second thing, it's very slow. I don't know, but it's a very slow process. It takes time, and I feel as an expert, it should be on a fast forward tracking mode, कि ये चीजें थोड़ी जल्दी होनी चाहिए, बिकॉज जो जवान इन सब चीजों से फॉलो कर रहा है, जिसके ऊपर ये सब चीजें, द पर्सन हु इज अफेक्टेड बाय इट शुड गेट द अर्लीस्ट ट्रीटमेंट फॉर दैट. yes, it is happening, but sir, I feel जितना मैंने सुना, it is a slow process, which I feel it should be fast tracking mode.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Anyone else?
Right. Dr. Nikita, I'm sure that people will need some time to think, and they might come up with more questions for you, and I'll definitely direct them to you. And maybe I'll share your email ID on our group, so that if anyone
One thing, Tanvi, I like to just interrupt, but I am so thrilled with the session and interacting with all of our officers today. And so far, I feel that all of them were so interactive and really intellectually understanding what the importance of psychology and mindfulness is. And most of them is following also. So I'm really thrilled to interact with all of you and really enjoyed the session myself only. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nikita. Thank you so much. So just taking a few more minutes of mindfulness, I would request all of you to please switch on your cameras. And I'll just call out the names of the ones I don't see yet. Hemanja sir, Shailesh ji, Tarni Kumar sir, Ashutosh sir, Kalyan Kanti sir, Matthew sir. Request you all to please be on your cameras, and we'll just take 1 minute to adjust ourselves also so that our faces are as much visible as possible. So just keep your camera a little bit near towards you. If you are listening to us on a monitor, you can keep your seat a little bit closer and come up at least this much level, like I am, this much. Because when the photograph gets printed, if you are a bit far away, it doesn't print that well. I'll just check if everybody is here and then we can click. Kalyan Kanti sir, I don't see you yet. And Matthew sir, if you are hearing us, we don't see you as well. All right. Okay, I think they are not here. I'll click another photograph later. For now, let us click a quick capture. On my count of 3, please smile, sirs. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. I'll take one more picture. On my count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much, sir. We'll go on a 10-minute break and we'll take another picture before we begin the session. Hopefully, the other 2 DIGs can join us. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Latangi, we'll begin your session at 11:10. I see you here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Latangi, can you switch on your camera? I think.
डंडे पहुंच जाओगे
नहीं 8 नहीं 12 लगते ही लगते हैं 11 या 12 लगेंगे
अरे सर ड्राइविंग देखी नहीं है अभी आपकी सर की
नहीं सर फिर भी 8 का तो मतलब ही नहीं है 11-12 लग ही जाएंगे ठीक कह रहे हैं सोई सर क्योंकि ना पता है वो रूट भी ऐसा ही है आपको जब जबलपुर से अगर जाते हो ना तो बहुत बेकार रूट है ये और अगर आप नागपुर से या उधर से जाते हैं तो थोड़ा लंबा पड़ जाता है
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Sorry to interject your talks. I know that breaks are the best time to connect, and our previous batches have been doing the same, so we are quite used to it, and we always feel very bad to come and interject. Matthew sir and Kalyan Kanti sir, I see you on screen. Yes, thank you. We'll take another picture with you included. Thank you for being on time. And Dr. Latangi, you can also join us in the picture. Yeah. Right. Okay. So we'll take one more picture, sir, with Matthew sir and Kalyan on a count of 3. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. Thank you. And we will now begin with the next session on nurturing accountability and ownership with our coach, Dr. Latangi. She is already here with us. And before Dr. Latangi, we give over the baton to you. I will just briefly introduce you to our participants. So Dr. Latangi is an MBA in HR from Pondicherry University and a Doctor of Philosophy in the area of human resources. She has participated and presented 70 plus research papers in national and international conferences conducted by Indian B schools. She is also she has co-authored the book on soft skills for managers published by Wiley India Private Limited, and another book on talent management for competitive advantage is under the same publisher for publication. She has more than 10 years of industry experience, and she has conducted training programs for both industry and B school. She has conducted sessions with our previous BSF batches as well. And she will now take you through the journey of nurturing accountability and ownership. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Tanvi, for that introduction. Yeah. Good morning, all present here. I'm glad to be again a part of this program. I have been with the BSF training programs even earlier, several of them. And I think each time it has a different energy, and the kind of contributions that you people really do is very good. So I'm happy that this time also I can see a lot of you are, very anxious to learn something, because this is very difficult at some stage of our life to feel that we need to learn something. But then I can see that you all have that learning spirit, which is very important and very nice to have. So let's just go with this session. Nurturing accountability and ownership. I think this is something which whenever I take it, this session, I always feel that you people are very accountable, and you are leaders by yourself. So you might have this thing that, feeling also that, what is new in this accountability and ownership? We all do have it. But I think somewhere we also will want to, bring in something new perspective, wherein we can include this in our day-to-day, work spheres. So it's always that most of us do have all of these qualities. But then as leaders, we sometimes need to keep, introspecting ourselves, and we need to keep brushing things so that we are up to date. So that's why this is the effort of this program. Let's go ahead with what is that we're going to be seeing in this during this session. Reflect and infer what is accountability, why accountability, what blocks accountability, identify those gaps, participation versus buy-in. There is a model that we're going to also be looking at, which will really help all of us in our endeavors. Disagree, relieve, agreement, promise, putting it all together, looking ahead, and your action plan. So this is something which, it's a picture where you can see whatever you can infer out of this. Can you just figure out what it means?
A team, they are collectively showing their bond.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
That is not clear. Whole team, they are discussing about their strategy and then wishing them everyone all the best.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm glad that you could make out this picture well. And
no, picture is not clear.
It's not clear. Yes, that is why it was intentionally made, just to see. We sometimes perceptions vary. Sometimes we look at the picture and we may infer it differently. So we just wanted to intentionally keep it so that we get a lot of perspectives from you. So considering this particular scenario, we're just looking at this in, a game of football. scheduled today between two fierce rivals. The game is of high stakes, considering it as a knockout tournament. It's a final match. Both teams are known for their tactical masterclass. Analysts predict a very close outcome and close call. Surprisingly, after 90 minutes, then what happens is one team loses by a large margin unexpectedly. Players interviewed after the losing from the losing side seem disinterested to give responses. So post-match interview, manager, what is he stating? He says, "I am proud of my players despite the loss. Tactically, we are not on the point and must do better. But I am definitely disappointed that none of my players have owned up to their mistakes." Now, this is the situation. So what exactly do you think, from your perspective, what do you think of this situation?
Even after losing, because this team, one team,
Means
they competed, but they
the manager is telling that though the team has lost, but none of the player they are feeling that they are accountable for the loss. Only the manager is accountable.
Yes, sir. So do you think it's a wise thing where you see that somebody is blaming like this?
it is not wise, but the players also,
No, I
they
think
also backed out. Nobody came out.
player,
Actually, the captain should
the
have come
players,
out
they
and he should
must
have told that
feel
yes,
accountable.
we have lost, but we will be doing our best next time. So
Yes,
since
sir.
nobody was willing to come forward and being accountable for the loss, the manager, he had to do something, some face saving for the team, and then he came out and he gave some statement.
Thank you, Sailesh, sir. Thank you for that
30%.
input. Yeah. Anyone else?
The players
This is
should
Matthew
also
DIG.
come out and they
I am
feel
giving a question.
accountable.
Yes, sir.
The
I am
players,
ma'am.
please carry on.
Here, what happens is both the teams had a plan, and as you are putting, both of the teams were high stake matches, and both teams have good managers and their tactical masterclass in their own way. So when you start going for an event or a competition wherein you are talking, where a team is working, either the teams looks into the positives and the negatives of the opponent and self while you approach to a particular event. I am definite that both the teams did this homework while they were coming before the approach of this high tension and class game. Now, in the game, once the game progresses or the event progresses, both the teams went on with the strategy they had, and in between they might have changed the strategy as per the game was going on. At the end of the day, what happened is a team has to lose and another has to win, because this is this is how it goes about in every sphere of life, whether it is game or whether it is you are running an organization. There has to be the positives and negatives are also to be taken. When you come into accountability part, the manager who was giving, or the coach, generally in a football match, the coach is of the paramount importance than the managers are concerned, because the coach is the one who is putting the team into the game. So he did the complete, he's seeing the game from outside, the players are playing individual part from the inside. And he is seeing the entire game from the outside, how and where they went wrong. He might have done the corrections of bringing in new players when the entire thing was, his aim is to win.
Yeah.
He has now found the accountability. He said we could have done better had we changed our strategies in between what we initially planned for. And the players in their own way, they thought they had done their best and they could have done better. So they are dejected that even after their detailed planning out, they could not bring the desired results, which was the team was wanting, and they could not make it. So the corrective measures and postmortems will be coming afterwards, but immediately they were not there for that reaction, because there was a lot of disheartened kind of sentiment or a mindset where they were not able to, with the manager's mindset, he had to come before and say that, yes, we lost because we failed somewhere and we need to correct it and make it a better approach next time we meet. That is what I take it now.
Thank you, Matthew, sir. Thank you for that interpretation. It was a good one. Anyone who would want to put in something here? Your
Madam,
perspective?
I also want to put on some other aspect.
Yes, sir.
As the manager is telling that tactically we were not on point and must be better. I feel that the tactics which a particular team adopts, it is the responsibility of the manager to, before the match, he should train the players so that they play the game tactfully as per requirement. Now he's telling that tactically they are not on the point. That means the manager he was not effective in making the player follow the tactics which was supposed to be done. So here the manager he himself is also not himself making accountable for the loss. He is putting the blame on the players. I feel that way.
Okay, sir.
Ma'am,
Thank you for the input.
Ma'am,
Yes.
one more point in it.
Yes, sir.
The team players have not taken any responsibility. They are not accountable. Probably they lack a sense of belonging to the team. It was not an amalgamated team. सबने यही कहा कि भाई उसकी जिम्मेदारी है वो करेगा. They had not delegated it properly.
Yes, sir. Correct. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ashutosh, sir, for this input.
Ma'am, besides that, I would like to add up one more point.
Yeah.
Because the margin of the loss is too much and it is unexpectedly, nobody was, expecting like that. And at the same time, because the people, these losing side players, they seems to be disinterested. It means there is something amiss within the team. There's a coordination or some lack of that cohesiveness. And at the same time, the manager's statement is quite diplomatic statement. Nevertheless, at one point, he's portraying that he's proud of his team, but openly and very vividly, he's criticizing them because he's not taking the full accountability of this. There is something amiss in that team, including that manager.
Thank you. Thank you, Raj, sir. Any other inputs?
Ma'am, I take it in other way. Since it was a team performance, so nobody is taking the responsibility for it.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that input. So now I think with this, let's just go forward and then we'll go back to the interpretation slowly. We will come to the interpretation slowly during our discussion. So instead of concluding it now, yeah, we have got all the inputs. So maybe there will be some other perspectives also. So we can include it later and we'll go back to the discussion again. So now coming to the next point is we're looking at responsibility versus accountability. So is there any, what do you, how do you look at responsibility and accountability? What is the difference between them? Anyone who would like to start the discussion?
Responsibility pertains to the task and the targets, and accountability starts after the responsibility. The results of responsibility come forth.
Okay. Thank you,
if
sir.
If they are not able to perform, then the accountability comes in.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that input. Yeah. Anyone else would want to add in here?
Responsibility is probably for the task, doing the task, and accountability is, after evaluation of the end result.
Okay. Right.
Responsibility consists of accountability.
Okay. Right, sir.
These are interrelated.
Okay, these are interrelated. Okay. Now, how many of you, when you look at this responsibility and accountability, feel that something is more than the other? Something is more. It has more weightage and
responsibility.
I feel that accountability is more heavier than responsibility.
More heavier than
I also think
responsibility.
accountability is more than the responsibility.
Accountability is more than the responsibility. Okay.
My take
Like-
is that it
like-
is a responsibility which is heavier, because if you are doing your job, whatever task is given with full responsibility, then chances of fixing any accountability are less. So responsibility is a heavier word.
In my opinion, as in the last example, it was the responsibility of the players to play in a proper manner. And however to make them play in a proper manner, the accountability was of the coach or the manager, whoever it was. This is the difference. I understand.
Okay. Right, sir. So when we look at responsibility and accountability, I think they are more or less going together, like what you have just now you have inferred. That is true. Now, when we look at the the interlinkage, yes, responsibility. All of us usually from the lower rung to every individual will have some kind of responsibility in their jobs. They are supposed to be doing certain jobs, and that is what they are responsible for. So they take it as their job. They take it as their part of their role, the job role that they perform. Now, accountability is something which comes along with their sincerity or their efforts or their commitment towards their role. So they want to do something with their full commitment, sincerity. They are responsible about what they're doing, and they are sincere towards their job. So this is something which comes in as an individual perspective, and responsibility is something which is bestowed on them, which is given to them by the organization. So this is how we can look at, and then we can look at now the team. When we looked at the previous match that happened, so the responsibility, who was responsible in the match when they lost the match, the football match, the picture that we saw earlier?
All are responsible.
All are responsible. Okay, sir.
All are responsible. Manager as well as players. All are responsible.
Okay. Now accountable. Who is accountable?
The manager. The responsibility of was the players to play in a proper manner to win the game. The accountability of the manager, because he had to make them play that way.
Okay. Okay. So we feel that the manager is responsible. How many of you feel that it's the accountability has to?
Ma'am, every individual, every player is accountable to work as a work in a unison, and to win the match and to play, as per their capabilities and with their full health. So everybody is accountable. All these the team members are accountable for that.
Thank you, Raj sir. Thank you for that.
Team captain of team as a team, they are supposed to play well, and the team captain is supposed to take them along. Now these managers and coaches, they are there to support. They are not there with the ball playing for this team. So these people are responsible as well as accountable. The whole team is responsible and accountable. Accountable for the loss, and this team captain has got the bigger responsibility and accountability. So it is not the coach and manager, to my mind. They are there to help. They are there to extend all help, all guidance and all. But it doesn't mean they are solely responsible and accountable. It is the team and the team captain. They are more responsible and accountable.
Okay.
Ma'am, here I want to add, as this view has come very apt, because when you go with a team, you always take when you win, you take that it is because of me the win has taken place. Generally that happens. And when it loses, you shy away from your responsibility. When a team wins, which is winning, and when it loses, it is manager and the team entire, because somewhere we had collectively we are not able to deliver. So that should be the approach, rather than fixing an individual responsibility because of you we lost, so that next time he is not performing, next attempt we make, you are completely make him demoralized and he is grounded. So that is not the approach. Next time the team stands again together along with the manager for a better performance rather than fixing an individual. When you win, every 11 players will say because मैंने right in से ऐसा pass मारा तभी तो center forward goal मारा. So that is not the approach. वो pass नहीं आता तो center forward को ball ही नहीं मिलता goal मारने के लिए. And the manager says यार मैंने drink break में बोला था right in को ऐसा pass मारना तो goal मारना. That is not the approach. It is collectively the team which went in, they lose or win, the team loses or the team wins. That's what my take is on this.
Thank you, Matthew, sir. Thank you for that input.
Madam, I want to add something.
Yeah, please.
I feel that the responsibility to win was given to the manager and the whole team. But when they lost, then the manager and the players, captain, they should feel the accountability. I want to say that responsibility is entrusted on them, and accountability, they should feel that we are accountable for this.
Okay. Right, sir. Glad that we have a lot of perspectives here coming up. Let's just see what happens next. We're looking at how is accountability different then from the responsibility. What do we mean by the term accountability? Because now we have come to a point where we have a lot of perspectives coming in, from each of us, saying that yes, this person had to be accountable and he's to be responsible. The team entirely has to be taking responsibility or accountability. So now, when we look at this concept of accountability versus responsibility, is there anything very significantly different? Anything that is there that you feel that, yes, this is the thing that really should be there and that is what was missing?
In fact, I believe responsibility is only by one's position or the role one is playing. It is only automatic. Responsibility is certainly not defined in clear terms कि भाई ये है, ये owned है, owned होता है. Accountability is defined in clear terms कि you are accountable for these 2 things, 3 things, 5 things, for this task, for this task. Love you make people accountable for different roles, for tasks, for different functions. Responsibility, in my opinion, is not very clearly defined in terms as accountability is done.
Okay.
Besides that, ma'am, I would like to add up responsibility, something like it's like a generic. It's like a very generic, not very specific. Nevertheless, the accountability is individual specific, and that connotes the individual sincerity and the commitment to achieving that particular aspect. So I take it in that way.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that input. Anyone else would want to add in? Now, we will again go back to the discussion once we just go a little forward, and then we will put a break and then go back to the discussion. So now we're looking at accountability with the factors, keeping in mind all your viewpoints. So we can look at, these are some of the points that we have come across as willingness to accept responsibility. When we look at accountability, somebody needs to be willing to take in the responsibility. Now, responsibility is something which is actually definitely given in the job role. So these are the responsible tasks. In the morning you come and this is what you're going to be doing: calling, making, interacting with people, or listing out all the roles and responsibilities. So we call it as very clear-cut instructions that is given to an individual in their job role. So responsible, he is responsible for his own set of activities that are defined to him. Now, willingness to accept the responsibility is something which will actually make him accountable. When he is thoroughly committed. Now, what do we mean by this? There is a concept called as Heathrow's effect. Now, Heathrow was a psychologist who came up with this concept, wherein he said, if employees are willing to accept responsibility, then you can see them, they are more committed. they are more sincere. They are more, happy to do their job. The performance is good. Performance level is good enough in the organization. You can see the difference when they are accountable. You can see a lot of change in their way of behaving and the way they perceive things, and they put in their effort in the job. So this is what Heathrow came up with. So accountability is something which is a little larger than the responsibility, wherein the individual is actually taking in the willingness to do some task. So if you are talking about the roles and responsibilities, he is made to do it. He is not asking for, he's not asked for willingness. He's not asked for, are you happy to do this job? But he is said that he is supposed to be doing that job. So it is more or so, you can say that it is forced upon him, because he's getting salary and he's supposed to be working in that organization. So he is supposed to be taking up that responsibility. Now, accountability is something where he is interested. He really wants to do something for that particular job assignment. If there is an issue, then he is also taking up the challenge. So these are some things which comes apart from the responsibility. So that's why we call it as accountability. Now, answerability. Somebody is answerable to their team members. If he is a small team leader, you have a lot of team members there in your organization, sir, BSF. So you have small contingents, and there are these team leaders who are actually supposed to be handling their own teams. Now they are answerable to these their own team members. So if they are having some issue, we all generally in lives also we can see, sir, जब हम बाहर भी जाते हैं तो फैमिली के साथ या कुछ भी हम प्लानिंग तो एक करते हैं, कभी कभार ऐसा भी हो सकता है, या आप लोग तो इतना परफेक्टली प्लान करते हो, but as individuals you are able to do it. But when it comes to the family, you cannot define everybody. अभी बच्चे लोग भी हैं, 2 बच्चे हैं, एक तो फटाफट तैयार होके रेडी हो जाता है, एक और का प्रॉब्लम ही हो जाता है, पेट में गड़बड़ हो जाता है, बाहर जाने के टाइम पे घुस जाता है, then you are waiting in the car, waiting with all the package and all that, you want to leave the place at this particular time. 9 o'clock मैंने बोला था, अभी तक आया नहीं, 9:15 हो गया. That 15 minutes is not in your hand. Actually, this is an exigency. Plan A, plan B. Usually that is why in management we also call, if plan A is not working, we need to have something called as plan B. If plan B is also not working, we need to have one plan C. So usually we have 3 plans. So एक नहीं चलता है तो दूसरा. अभी वो 15 minutes का gap इतना हो जाता है when we are traveling, particularly traffic बन जाता है, and we keep contemplating that तुम्हारे वजह से डिले हो गया, 15 मिनट का डिले था, मगर इधर देखो फंस गए हम ट्रैफिक में. So these are external factors which we take it as, part of our discussion, and then we try using that as a reason, or we complain and we have this in our mind. So answerable, the leader is answerable to their team members. They might have planned many things, but when it comes to the execution and when it comes to their team members, there is a challenge that the leader has to accept, and he has to be answerable to his team members, because they all need supervision. If there were everybody as leaders, if there were all of them were ready to take accountability, then we wouldn't have this problem at all. Now there is a problem because not all want to take responsibility. All do not want to take up the challenge, or they don't want to take up the accountability. They don't want to be answerable to others. This is the problem. Now obligation. Now when we look at obligation again, the team members and the leader, there is an obligation that they feel that towards the team members, they feel obligated towards the job, they feel obligated towards the organization. So this is also something which is actually we're talking about in terms of accountability. So they have to be held accountable for not just results, but also the action. So if whatever action has been taken, they have planned it, but then exigency to aise ho gaya hai. So flight ka to you have seen the examples. Recently in the flight, there was one man who thappad mar diya tha pilot ko when he came to announce that there's a delay in flight. So he got a slap. Now who is responsible? Is the pilot responsible for it? Is it the, whatever the passenger did, it was because of his frustration. He had the frustration, he was annoyed with the whole situation. Obviously, हम लोग भी अगर उधर होते तो शायद हमको भी frustration हो जाता. But then he went to the extent of slapping this gentleman, pilot, because he was not responsible. Pilot was not responsible. He was only trying to avoid any calamity. अगर भी वो flight को निकालता, फिर भी वो फंस जाता. Because कोहरा इतना था, they were not even able to see there's no visibility at all. So what can he do? He is also helpless. And he is also stuck in the flight. It is not that he is free. He is also stuck in the flight. He is also there in the same place. And next, we are looking at enforceability. How do you enforce whatever you think on the employees, on the team members? This is something which the leader has to take care. And we also look at personal commitment. Whatever the leader is trying to say, if the employee is not taking up that personal commitment, he is not willing to commit. He only feels that, okay, ये तो इसमें तो risk है. I don't want to take this risk. But लेना पड़ेगा. अभी क्या करें? Boss ने तो बोल दिया, हमको लेना पड़ेगा, उठाना पड़ेगा. तो ठीक है, हम करेंगे. But कितना हद तक करेंगे, क्या करेंगे? That is out of their purview. So they will only look at it when the situation comes. So this is the personal commitment which is also to be looked at. So that is why accountability you can look at with all of these aspects in team members. These are all some of the things that has to be present. So any additions here, sir? Anyone wants to add in something here, or shall we go to the next slide? Okay, let's just go to the next slide. We might have many more thoughts. Why is accountability important in the previous scenario? When we look at now, aapne to kaha tha, many of you have discussed and you have come up with the thing that the manager should be responsible. Some of you said the players are responsible. So some of you said all of them are supposed to be taking the responsibility or accountability. Now, when you look at that same situation, why is accountability important?
Madam, accountability is important because this particular match we have lost. But if we feel accountable, then for the next match, we'll do our best. We'll ponder that why we have lost this match. Then I'll do, as I'm feeling accountable, then I'll work more for the next match to get a better result. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sinha, sir. Anyone else would want to put in?
Ma'am, accountability is important because both the teams were on equal footing. They were class teams and the loss was unexpected.
Yes.
So they have to go into the nitty-gritty to fix the accountability for non-performance on the part of the players who were supposed to perform.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that input.
And accountability is important to get the desired result.
Where they are apart from the players, there are other stakeholders like manager and coach, and these people are heavily paid. So now they are paid because of their caliber, number one, and they are paid to give result. Now the result was not in the favor of the management, and these people, if they are paid, given responsibility, so they are accountable also.
Yes, sir. So anyone else would want to interpret why is accountability important in a workplace?
Ma'am, accountability is important to get the desired result or desired goal or the fixed goal. That's why accountability is very important.
Important. Okay. So along with responsibility, at least we have come to a point wherein we agree that accountability is important because it will give us better performance and to reach the targets or goals of the organization. Thank you, sir.
Ma'am, accountability is important to introspect our shortcomings and to perform better in next.
Perform better. Yeah. Thank you. So we're looking at why accountability is needed, like all of you put in: improved performance, meet expectations and better compliance, build trust. Now this also, it helps. Accountability also helps in building trust. Now how does it help? For example, if the leader is accountable and he takes the responsibility, like in this case, the manager is taking responsibility. In a statement, he says, yes, we have lost the match, but it could have been done better. But I only feel a little dejected or unhappy because my team members are not taking the responsibility. Now, in this case, he has taken the accountability. He has accepted that the match was not in their favor. Now he will do the introspection at a later stage. But at the present, because there was a meeting and he was asked this question, he had to take up the accountability. So he is taken up the accountability by saying that, yes, we agree that there is some flaws and we need to rectify it. So building trust, this what happens is, if the leader is taking the responsibility of whatever is happening, accountability, and when he is coming up with this kind of a statement or situation, the team members are finding him more, reliable, or they feel very safe. Because tomorrow, if they're not able to perform for any reason because of some challenges, then what happens is, at least they are ensured that they're very confident that the team leader is going to be, taking the accountability. And that is what is needed in a team. Because building trust is the most important thing, which will take the whole team a long way. Otherwise, if there is no trust between the leader and the team members, there is a gap amongst them, which is going to be very difficult for anybody to identify also, or to even fill up that gap. So there should be that, trust factor, which is very essential. And how do we do it? We will also look at it a little later. Increased engagement levels. So this also, when you bring in accountability, you can see that their employees are more engaged. They feel more happy about doing things because they feel more recognized. They feel that they have been appreciated, because the leader is taking the accountability of whatever the challenges are, good or bad. He's going to be accountable, being there for the team. So they are very involved and they feel very engaged. Sense of responsibility. So the employees also feel a lot of responsibility for their own particular individual tasks, because every individual's input, every individual's contribution actually gives the team their whole goal. Otherwise, the team cannot perform or reach the goal. It is all the employees' inputs or the team members' inputs, which is very valuable. Then foster commitment. So this also ensures that they are more committed, because they know that they're responsible. The boss has given them a job to do. He knows that things are on his shoulder and he's accountable for his own particular task. He feels more committed. So that commitment level is fostered. You're trying to bring in that commitment level amongst the employees. The research survey says 91% of the management, the leader, feels that effective holding others accountable is very important. By and large, this is a study by Gallup in 2022, where they did it across the globe. So it's not in one particular area, but they got the reviews or feedback from a large population of the society, wherein they said that 91% of the leaders feel that that employees' accountability is what they always want. So it's a big challenge. It's not easy, that means to say. So 82% of managers acknowledge that limited to no ability to hold others accountable. They are not really able to bring in that accountability to the fullest. They want to bring in, and they know that they have to bring in. They have identified that they have to bring in. All that is true. Now, but still they say that they're really not able to bring in that effectiveness. So in 40% of the employees, what do they feel? They feel that they are held responsible because the manager really wants them to be responsible. They are throwing all their responsibility on the employee's shoulder. So the employees feel that they are held responsible for many things, accountable for many things. So this is what they perceive. So this is a perception of people around. So what stops them to actually be accountable. So when we look at our own teams, what is stopping them from being accountable? Now, this is what we are going to be brainstorming, because we said the trust factor. Now, the trust factor also is one of the main reasons. So we'll be looking at how to bring in that also. So what stops the team actually, according to you, because aapke bhi teams hai and all that, you have seen many such situations. I know if possible, you can also bring in some situations, sir, from your team members where you had any such situation where you have experienced something, and what do you feel that that was a reason for them not to take accountability?
I think team members were, including the captain, were heartbroken because of this loss. They never expected this is going to happen. And after this humiliating defeat, out of humiliation and fear, none of them came forward to brief the media or own the responsibility.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, you can also bring in any particular situation in your own organization where you feel, you can, if possible, you can give us a little detail.
Ma'am, in organization like BSF, where we have very strict hierarchy, this thing is not, generally it doesn't happen because everybody is told what to do. So in case of win or loss, somebody who is going to brief or something like that, it is all decided and everybody has to obey.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Anyone else who would want to add in?
Madam, normally people on their own, they try to show that they are not accountable for whatever any fault which is committed due to them. So normal people, they try to show that they are not accountable, and so that everything does not fall on them if the things goes for a 6.
Right, sir. I think we can see it even in our daily lives also. I see many of my students who come to the class late आते हैं 5-10 मिनट, उनको पूछे गए तो बोलते हैं कि मैम ट्रैफिक, बहुत सारा ट्रैफिक था बाहर. तो I say, when did you start from home? Say, ma'am, I started at 9 o'clock. Where do you live? वैसे question पूछते पूछते then they come to a point where they feel that, oh, they're responsible. Okay, then I say, then why should you not start a little early? Oh, yes, ma'am. Okay. So it is only the, the thing that is there inside. There's a concept called inner, focus of locus of control and external locus of control. When we look at the people who are having this inner locus of control, that means these are people who take in responsibility. They know that they are supposed to be going to college early. They have to get up early. और घर में भी बोलते हैं, पेरेंट्स बोलते हैं कि जल्दी उठ के तैयार होके आपको कॉलेज जाना है, इधर जाना है, वहां जाना है. That they take in is okay. मेरे वजह से ऐसे हो रहा है, तो let me do it. Some kids are like that. Now some kids are ठीक है, सैटरडे है, संडे है, मुझे सोने दो, मुझे सोना है, बाद में उठ के कर लूंगा. अरे पूरा वीक तो मैं करता रहता हूँ. I go to college, I come back, I'm so खच्चर करते रहता हूँ, अभी हमको छोड़ दो, थोड़े देर तक सोने दो. These are different things, when you look at individuals, there is something which you call as an external locus of control, and they are those children who put the blame on others. So okay, ट्रैफिक के वजह से ऐसे हो गया, मेरे नींद की वजह से ऐसे हो गया, टीवी देखने के वजह से ऐसे हो गया, मेरे दोस्त लोगों के वजह. So this is something which is there in most of the human beings. Now how do we take in those things is you're looking at the locus of control, whether we are taking it internally or we're putting it externally. So let's look at what stops the team from being accountable. Fear of getting the blame. So the team members are looking at them, and then they start blaming them for taking up this assignment and not doing it properly. The fear is actually stopping them from taking accountability. Absence of trust. Now they are worried that the boss is not going to be supportive, or the team members, their own team is not going to be happy about the whole thing. So the trust factor, which is in the team, is not very strong, and that is why he feels or she feels that taking up accountability is not उनको नहीं चाहिए accountability, नहीं चाहिए, they don't want to take up accountability. Unclear expectations. Now expectations, if they are not very clear, they are not defined properly, sometimes it happens that you get a challenge or a assignment, and it is quickly told to them in a short span. You're supposed to be dealing with them, and then you're giving them the brief, and they're not able to register that properly. हम जितने कितने भी बार ऐसे ही होता है कि हम सुनते रहते हैं, but we are not actually focusing there. Our mind is having a lot of other thoughts. So because of that also, the unclear expectations, they're not listening and they don't understand this properly, and within that short duration they're in trouble. So unclear expectations is something which they feel they don't want to take responsibility. Lack of commitment, they themselves don't want to commit because they feel it is scary. They feel it is a challenge. Avoidance of ownership, so they always try to avoid taking the ownership. Inattention to results. Now what do is they don't take the the result part of it. They're not focusing on, they're more interested upon their own self. Okay, mujhe agar ye ho jata, if I get through, then I'm going to get this credit, my boss is going to be crediting me. If I do this way, then this is going to be. So they're more focused on their own personal goals rather the organization's goals. So that is why the inattention to results. So they're not looking at the organization's results, but they're looking at their own goals, selfish goals. Identifying gaps. So here I just request if there is anything that you would like to discuss in your own personal arena, that too in the organization, somewhere where you felt in your teams that you had seen such gaps. Anyone who would want to share your thoughts about your team members or maybe the team and what you did there? How did you manage those gaps? हर किसी के टीम में ऐसे gaps तो थोड़ा बहुत होता ही है, because you might get new teams and maybe there are new challenges and there are new gaps. So you keep thinking of strategies to actually fill in those gaps. What were the measures that you took to fill in these gaps? Anyone who would want to share your Harinder sir, Kanwaljit sir, any inputs from your end?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, all are not equal, so we must accept the imperfections. So we have to task somebody with his caliber and capabilities. That gap we can cover with this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that input. That's really true, because all cannot have the same kind of caliber. So then if the leader is able to identify those skills that each of these employees have, then according to the skill sets, probably yes, you can assign their roles. Anyone else who would want to share?
मॉर्निंग मैम.
Yes, sir.
मैम जो आपने बोला दिस रिगार्डिंग अकाउंटेबिलिटी, उसकी बात आपने जो की है मैम,
Yes,
जब भी कोई भी स्पोर्ट होता है मैम, एनी मैच इज बीइंग प्लेड, जो भी मैच होता है, मैच हारने के बाद टीम को नहीं बल्कि कोच को ही मैम जनरली ब्लेम किया जाता है. दिस इज फैक्ट, बिकॉज वो मैम स्ट्रेटजी बनाता है, प्लेयर्स इज प्लेइंग एज पर जो ग्राउंड पे सिचुएशन उस हिसाब से ही प्लेस, बट क्या होना है क्या नहीं होना वो उसको देखता है कोच बाहर से बैठ के, एंड स्ट्रेटजी वही बनाता है. एज पर स्ट्रेटजी प्लेयर्स दे प्ले द गेम. इसलिए मैम दे आर बीइंग पेड 10% ऑफ टोटल जो भी अमाउंट मिलता है टूर्नामेंट का, 10% मिलता है मैम कोचों को. और अभी तक देखा गया जितने भी प्लेयर्स जो आर लूजिंग देयर मैचेस, कंटिन्यूअसली मैच हारते हैं, टीम छोड़ देते हैं, वेदर दे आर फुटबॉल में हो चाहे टेनिस में हो, एनी गेम्स में दे आर, उन्हीं को ही मैम अकाउंटेबिलिटी दी जाती है. उन्हीं को फिक्स किया था मैं कोच को, ना कि प्लेयर्स को. प्लेयर्स अब it depends कि उस दिन में whether he is playing good or not, it doesn't matter. Matter is कि मैं जो strategy बनाता बाहर में is only coach, manager.
Yeah, वो तो सही बात है sir. What you say is true. Yeah, because generally
only
what
coach,
is
coach और manager. The
whoever
moment इन्होंने टूर्नामेंट ज्यादा हारा है, उन्होंने छोड़ना ही छोड़ा. मैं
हम बाहर से जब भी देखते हैं लोग, they always put the blame on the manager or the coach.
मैम प्लेयर तो खेल रहा है. आई एम आल्सो प्लेयर. मैं नेशनल इंटरनेशनल खेला हूं. दैट आई नो. जब खेलते मैम हमें पता नहीं लगता है. वी आर जस्ट प्लेइंग. जो गेम चल रहा है सब खेलते हैं. लेकिन जो बाहर बंदा बैठा हुआ है, जो स्ट्रेटजी बनाता रहता, लिखता था, पेन से देखता था, कीप ऑन वाचिंग व्हाट इज गोइंग ऑन द मैच, उस हिसाब से वो ग्राउंड पे आता है, बताता है यहाँ चल रहा है, यहाँ चल रहा है. दैट्स व्हाई ही इज ब्लेम्ड. द मोमेंट दे लूज, कोच इज ब्लेम्ड, नॉट प्लेयर्स. मैम एक्सपेक्टेशन के हिसाब से खिलाड़ी नहीं खेल रहा, दैट डजंट मैटर. डिपेंड करता है डे ऑफ द डे. इफ द प्लेयर इज गुड, ही प्लेज गुड. वो होता है दिन उसका अच्छा ना हो. बट इन जनरल जो मैं देखता आया हूं मैम पास फॉर लास्ट 30 इयर्स, कोच को ही ब्लेम होता है. He has to leave, he has to quit. जैसे आप एनी टूर्नामेंट देख लो, मैं अमेरिकन ओपन देख लो, भी चल रहा है. कोच अभी सब जो भी हारे हैं टूर्नामेंट लगातार, उन्होंने अपना कोच चेंज कर दिया है. बिकॉज दे आर नॉट गुड. वो मैम आगे के लिए लेके चलते हैं कि कौन से टीम के साथ खेलना है. कोच ही नोज. प्लेयर को कम पता होता है. मैम कोच ही नोज बेटर. अभी कौन सी टीम सामने खेल रही है, हाउ दे प्ले, इनका स्ट्रेटेजी क्या है, इनको खेलने का ढंग क्या है. मैम तो उस हिसाब से मैम होता है. जनरली ब्लेम कोच पर ही आता है. प्लेयर्स में मैम बहुत कम आता है.
Yes sir. So that is why it is more the challenge for the leader to
coach. उस वाले में मैम इज लाइंग द कोच को ही उस पे आएगा ना अकाउंटेबिलिटी. बिकॉज दे लॉस्ट द मैच. वो शाई ऑफ कर रहा है अपने उससे अकाउंटेबिलिटी से. बट उसको बनाना चाहिए. मैच कोच को ऊपर ही आएगा.
तो इसीलिए तो हमारे इसमें क्या हमारा ये एफर्ट होना चाहिए एज लीडर दैट वी ब्रिंग इन द अकाउंटेबिलिटी ऑन द टीम मेंबर्स एज वेल, बिकॉज the team is also responsible. Once the manager is defining lot of things and giving them the strategy, but the person who's going to be in the ground is actually going to be.
Yes ma'am, लड़ाई में वही होता है मैम. the same thing. हमें लड़ाई होती है. स्ट्रेटजी कौन बनाता है? जनरल बनाते हैं. the moment we lose the war, we blame generals, we blame colonels. We don't blame jamans ma'am.
Yes. So because when you look at the particular field, maybe उस दिन का फील्ड वो पिच ही ठीक नहीं है. क्रिकेटर वो उठा नहीं पाया, फायदा नहीं उठा पाया. ही इज अ स्पिनर बट ही इज नॉट एबल टू स्पिन द बॉल प्रॉपर्ली बिकॉज ऑफ द पिच. और बॉल
देखो मैम जैसे मैच चल रहा है, द क्रिकेट मैच इज गोइंग ऑन. अगर तेंदुलकर या कोहली जल्दी आउट होता है, दे ब्लेम देम बिकॉज वो जो टीम का मेन प्लेयर है, ही इज द मेन प्लेयर. और कोहली उसको ब्लेम कर देते हैं कि भैया तुम तो वर्ल्ड बेस्ट प्लेयर हो, अच्छा नहीं खेले. दे ब्लेम देम. लेकिन लास्ट में मैनेजर के ऊपर ही आता है, कोच के ऊपर. आप पीछे देख लीजिएगा जितने कोच हैं.
Yes, so इसीलिए हमारा. Yes, yeah.
Ma'am, I would like to add up because right now I am on deputation with Uttarakhand Police.
Yes, sir.
And at the same time, I have been I am looking after the as a DIG training, and I'm based at the police headquarters in Dehradun. And at the same time, I have given the hybrid role as additional secretary in USDM in the secretariat that is pertaining to all these disaster activities, and that is a state disaster management authority. So, ma'am, when I switched over from BSF to Uttarakhand Police, there was a huge paradigm shift. Because there's a lot many difference in the functional modalities of the police functionality. So when I landed up there, so I could see all the work culture. So it was totally different, and there was a lot of the difference in the way of the level of commitment, in the discipline, and at the same time the professionalism. So what I try to do is, so first of all, after knowing their gaps for the best part of more than 10 to 15 days. So I concluded that I have to work within this with this team only. So I just try to call them one by one, try to find out their the plus points, negative points, and accordingly I started giving them the jobs. And at the same time, I just try to give them, the pep talk, and just try to give them some, so that they can, enhance their capabilities, develop their skills, and etc. So but at the same time, when I switch over to with my hybrid role in the secretariat, so it was totally a different paradigm. Then the police functionalities.
Okay.
So because the USDMA, it is working based on 90% of contractual peoples. These all are the scientists, all these geologists and the system experts and the structure designers, IITians, blah, blah, blah. But you see, there was no any cohesiveness as such. They were all, you see, they were just like a disintegrated team. Totally, and this responsibility and accountability, the both things were lacking there. Severe. So after consulting my secretary, so I just put up a plan how we can, you see, make a cohesive team, and we can make them accountable at the same time. We can fix up the responsibility also, so that we can enhance their capabilities and they can work in unison. So what we did in the SUC, that is a state operation room. So that deals with all these district levels, all DOCs, all these DMs are involved in that one. So I will give you only one example for that. Likewise, we have got the different portals like that IDMS and DSS, IDRN system. So nobody was, checking them. And वो ये कहते थे कि भाई ये उसका काम है, जो सिस्टम एक्सपर्ट कहता था ये तो वेदर वाले का काम या एमडी वाला काम करेगा, दूसरा कहता है नहीं साहब ये तो डीडीओ वाला काम करेगा। तो हम लोगों ने इस ढंग से एक सिस्टम बनाया कि सो दैट मॉर्निंग में आकर के सबसे पहले वो जो एक्सपर्ट है वो अपने अपने जो पोर्टल से उनको चेक करेंगे। इफ there are some undeliverables, so they will just try to find it out और अपने सिस्टम एक्सपर्ट को बुला के उसको करेक्ट करवाएंगे। एट द सेम टाइम अब डीडीएमओ से कैसे इनकी कनेक्टिविटी रहेगी, क्या वो डेटा को वहां पे भर रहे हैं पूरा का पूरे कोऑर्डिनेट्स दे रहे हैं, पूरा उस जो सिस्टम में पूरा मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं, उसको इंफॉर्मेशन दे रहे हैं। तो 2 हफ्ते में ट्वाइस अ वीक we have developed the VC, the VC meetings, so they can also open up their portals, and vis-a-vis, at the same time we also used to open our portals, so that we all are in the same platform. So with this kind of, certain adjustments, so at least we are getting some results now, not fully, but some results have been achieved.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that input. It's really, it's a challenge actually. If you are working in 2 different teams, and then you have to really work on individuals and then trying to bring in their skill sets, understanding them and trying to give them guidance. So you have made in your own strategies to, actually handle these teams. But ultimately, I think we all agree that, bringing in accountability in all the individuals is very important. Because otherwise what happens is there is no synchronization. Each of them will do their job. They will be doing their job. But how involved are they in doing their job is the question. And then they don't completely take up the ownership. So then there is some flaw. There are gaps which you have identified. And that is why you're working on your team in such a way that you're trying to bring in accountability into each individual. Because each one of them are experts. You know that each one of them are experts in their own field. But then you want to bring the best out of them. If you want to bring the best out of them, you're trying to bring in the accountability. So which is a very good example. So thank you for the input. So now going forward, let's see, we have a handbook here. So this is actually, we are trying to bring in an understanding of what you really feel about accountability and how you are actually handling as a leader your own team members. So the exercise is going to give us some little idea about where you really stand. So there are a set of questions here. Kindly open your handbooks. Which page is this? This is, can one of you tell which page it is? The 3rd day session, I think you can see the page number and share it.
It is 100, ma'am, my booklet.
Sorry, sir?
It is 100.
100. Okay.
99.
99. Okay, right, sir.
99.
99. So these questions, sir, please don't overthink. Don't give much thought to it. You have to give it immediately the moment you read it, and just give in your inputs. So you need to have, there are 3 columns here, usually, sometimes, and rarely. So you need to put in your numbers here, which number you want to, you're taking in. If it is usually, then put the number here. So then we can total it up finally. So I'll tell you where to total it, and then you'll total the numbers and you'll put it at the last. So we have 15 questions here, and all the 15 questions, please put in your remarks to the right. You can only have one answer there.
This is which page, madam?
100, 99 or 100, sir, in your handbook. This is pertaining to your own teams, so you can, please recollect and then put in your answers.
Ma'am, in the handbook, you don't have these three choices, usually, sometimes, rarely, because I see only a score total. Is it
Total score last mein aata hai, sir. I think your handbook should be having all the three things. Usually, sometimes, and rarely should be there.
I don't know.
So,
I think it's there with me.
Page 100 is missing here. There is only page 99 in the handbook which I have got.
Oh, okay. Miss
So
Tanvi,
page 100 is not there.
Yes. So, sirs, this is the legend that is being displayed on the screen, and in your handbook also you will see that above the team accountability factors, I'll just display the handbook that is with you. Just 1 second.
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
I can explain.
Can you
Yes,
share
ma'am.
it in
page
the
99.
On page 99, no option has been given.
Okay.
Page
Miss
99,
Tanvi,
13
can you share it on the chat
Yes.
section?
Yes. 1 second.
Only a score is, mentioned over here, but no such options are made.
Sir, after a minute, she will put it in the chat section so you can access it from there.
This is the page 99. So there is no option of usually, sometimes, rarely, and only 13%.
Latangi ma'am, there is an
It's not
option
there.
of total score there in the
Yes.
handbook, not
Yeah.
these 3 columns. So you can just guide that they have to write the total score. I'll just display the handbook on the screen so that
Okay, all
you can
right.
understand better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, can you please see the screen here? And you have the questions. You can please look at the question and put your remark there to the right side. I will give you the statements wherein you need to add up. There you please put those scores and then add it up. For example, the first one, statement 4, 6, and 12. You need to put the scores and put the total down below.
Dr. Latangi, I'll just take 1 minute of your time. I'll just display the handbook.
Okay, all right.
Yes. The handbook, everyone, on page number 99, you will see something like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you just need to put the score according to this. So for rarely, you can put the score here as 1. If your answer is sometimes, you can put the score here as 2. And if your answer is usually, you can put the score here as 3. So you have
So there
one
is a
column here. So you can just put 1, 2, or 3.
Only
no,
one
there,
score you'll have to
there
put,
is
sir.
an option
Either
of 1 to 4.
4 भी तो है इसमें 4 कहाँ से
4 भी है,
तो है
लेकिन
नहीं।
लिखा नहीं हुआ है उसमें.
नहीं सर, एक्चुअली इसमें यहाँ पे एक टाइपिंग एरर है, ऊपर है ऑप्शन 4 का, बट हम लोग सिर्फ 3 स्कोर्स लेंगे, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, okay.
यहाँ
Guarded in the discussion of issues. Team members call out.
so there is one error here that it is written 1 to 4, but it is just 1 to 3, sir.
Team members call out on other efficiency or unproductive behaviors.
Dr. Latangi, once they have attempted this, then you can show your screen for the final calculations.
So there are only 13 questions here, isn't it?
15 questions should be there, sir. Okay, only.
No,
नहीं,
there
नीचे
are
भी.
only 13.
Sir,
नहीं
on
sir,
the next
नीचे है.
page there are 2 more.
On next page.
I don't have this next page.
And genuinely apologize to one another.
So you can attempt from the screen also. It's visible on the screen. Yeah. You can just note down on a notepad.
Rarely. Willingly make sacrifices such as budget of support in members, in meetings, confident that they will help.
Sir, hello. Sir.
Hello.
Team members and discussions with clear and specific resolutions and calls to action.
Okay.
Is it done?
Yes. If the participants have attempted, then I can stop sharing. And ma'am, you can then share your screen.
Yeah. Can we unshare it, sir? Is it all done?
What is to be done with the scores, ma'am?
We will do. I will show it to you, sir.
Yes, I'll just stop sharing.
Just a minute. Yeah.
Can I have it?
Okay, we are not looking at the scores now. Please total in 4, 6, and 12. Statement 4, statement 6, and statement 12. Please total it here. The second one, the second set of statements, 1, 7, and 10. Total it up and please put the number there. 1, 7, and 10. Second set of statements. Third set of statements, 3, 8, and 13. Third set, 3, 8, 13. And please unmute yourself. Fourth set of statement, 2, 11, 14. 2, 11, 14. The last set of statements, 5, 9, 15. Last set is 5, 9, 15.
Said, ma'am, once again.
The last set is 5, 9, and 15. So once you have totaled it, if you see the result on each of these columns between 8 or 9, this is just an interpretation for you to understand things better. 8 to 9 indicates that your team is doing well and is very accountable. So the first set of statements actually looked at the absence of trust. So if your score is coming between 8 or 9, then you can say that the trust factor is okay, no problem, and they are accountable. Similarly, in the second set of statements.
Ma'am, you repeat the first set because to record it. We write it. No, not
Sorry.
First was what? 1, 3, and what is yours?
First one was 4, 6, and 12, sir.
4, 6, and 12, and second?
1, 7, 10.
Okay.
Third is 3, 8, 13.
4 is 2, 11, 14.
Yes. And last one is 5, 9, 15. So the first set of statement is about absence of trust. Second set of statement is about fear of conflict. So how well are they, how do they feel about fear of conflict? The teams, your teams, particular teams. Then if the score is between 8 or 9, then you can say that they are good. If it is 6 to 7, then you can say they're moderately well, they need improvement. If it is 3 to 5, indicate your team needs to be addressed, which is urgent, which you can make your plans and strategy to really work on them. And the third set of statement is about lack of commitment. Fourth set is about avoidance of ownership. And the fifth set is inattention to results. They want their own personal agenda to be achieved, and hence they are doing the job. So they are not looking at the result part of it. So,
ma'am, come again for 3, 4, and 5, lack of commitment, and fourth is?
Avoidance of ownership. And the fifth one is inattention to results.
Now, what are the scores you are giving?
Sir, 8 to 9 is good. That means they are okay, no problem. Your team is very good. They are accountable. If it is between 6 and 7, scores are between 6 and 7, then they're doing moderately okay. They're all right, but not very good. You need to work on them, need improvement. Third one is 3 to 5. They're very low scores. Low scores, that means you need to address that particular factor urgently. Maybe out of the 5 factors, only 1 factor you have a problem. You need to address that immediately. So can we go ahead?
Please, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. So this is what the, the statement, the questionnaire actually had: absence of trust, fear of conflict, lack of commitment, avoidance of ownership, inattention to results. So when we look at nurturing accountability, now how do we actually nurture accountability? We have been talking about the problems. Yes, there is a problem. They are accountable. They're not accountable. They are responsible. They're not responsible. Who is responsible? Who is accountable? The manager or the team members. Now we have come to a conclusion that as leaders, we also want people who have accountability. Because humko ye nahi chahiye ki we have team members who always throw the blame on others. We also want team members who will take responsibility and ownership and say, yes, we are here. Let's do the work. We want the job to be done properly. So if we have such people, I think all of us will be very happy and glad to really work with them. So now looking at nurturing accountability, how do we do this? How do we actually talk? We are talking about nurturing accountability. Is it possible? And how do we do it? So again, looking at these set of qualities, accept challenges. So we need to ensure, as leaders, we need to ensure that they accept challenges. Shift of mindset, embrace ownership, building trust, self-reflection, and feedback. These are some of the things that we all need to be working on. Now, what is accept challenges? We are looking at, making them accept challenges. The best example that I can think of, sir, you all must have read about Elon Musk. Elon Musk, when you look at him as a leader, he and his organization, when he started the space organization, initially, he had a lot of challenges. The first 2 times he got funding. People were ready to fund him only the first 2 times. After the second time, people started thinking he's mad. And then because both the times it was a disaster. He was not successful in his space endeavor. Sending a space shuttle and then it was not happening. It didn't go properly, and then in between itself, it just vanished and blasted or whatever. So now the investors started having this question in their mind, whether they should be funding him or not funding him, because he's a madman. He is taking the money, and then if he's not able to pay them back, then what will they do with the money? And it is not a small amount. It is a huge sum of money. So who is going to be responsible for this? He says he will pay. How do they trust him? So this thing was a problem. And now his employees here, looking at the organization, employees are also very doubtful whether the boss is going to be paying them or not. So this challenge was there between both the management, the investors, and as well as the team members. If the team members resign, then he wouldn't have anybody in the organization to be working, because he was not able to pay the salary during some part of his business. So he was in trouble. Now, what he did the third time, when he approached investors, when they refused to invest the money, then he's liquidated his property. He went to the extent of liquidating almost all his property to fund his own project, and then he went ahead with the project. In the process, he actually, because he was taking up such a challenge that nobody else could have even thought of, that, he wanted to bring in a society, a community. He wanted to have one colony in space, which nobody could have thought of. Going to space is one part of it, only to research and see the space, how things are in Moon and how things are in Mars and how things are in Venus or Jupiter. It is a different thing. You send satellites and you observe. But he says he wants to construct a colony. This concept was completely new. So he was in a big dilemma, but he tried convincing all his team members and brought them to a situation where there was a shift of mindset. He brought in a shift of mindset. That shift of mindset really actually helped the team members to really look forward to the challenge of accepting what the boss is actually telling and then going along with him. That was something which Elon Musk actually was capable of doing it. So in this, if you look at the shift of mindset, this only helped the team members to really work better, because otherwise, his company would have been lost. So the third time when he funded his own money, liquidating all his property, he was successful. So then, history, it is all history. Now that you can see that he is everywhere. He's in Twitter, he's taken so many other companies and he's doing a very good job. So his leadership actually brought in the accountability in his team members. So embracing ownership. Now, as a team leader, he also embraced the ownership of taking such a risky proposal of, starting a community or society in space, which nobody else really actually could think of or imagine also. And this helped all his team members to self-reflect, introspect. Okay, are they really working in a proper environment or a place where they can really depend upon? Because the salaries also were at stake. They never knew whether they're going to get salary. But in such a situation, dire situation, even when he was not able to pay the salary, they still stuck with the organization, just believing that he will really do something and he will succeed. And their salary will not be a problem. So they stayed back. So this needed a lot of mind shift. And the feedback, ultimately, getting feedback from whatever, they're seeing the reality, what is happening, and whether the organization is really moving forward or not. The feedback that they got from the society, from outside, about the management or the organization, and they saw the reality that finally space thing really happened, and now he is constructing a society. God knows how it is really going to look like tomorrow. But then he also says he's brought in the telephone, a mobile, Tesla. He's brought in a mobile, which he says that it can connect to the space only where the colony is going to be. The people who are going to own these phones can speak to their own, family members who's going to take up those colonies, and they can have a conversation. So this is the kind of, challenge that he has taken, which nobody can even imagine. So this is what is nurturing accountability, which I could think of as an example, the best example that we're looking at in real life.
Dr. Latangi,
Yeah.
so I think we can close the session on this note of the framework that you have shared with great examples, and probably we can share the presentation and a few reading materials with our DIGs to understand the concept a little bit more.
Can I
So,
just show this, the framework the framework which is just about to come here, participation versus buy-in. Only this
right,
framework that we can,
right, we can close with this. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
No problem.
So now coming up to this, we have come to a point where we understand that, team members are supposed to be participative, and they need to have commitment towards whatever the goal that is assigned to them. So when we look at this as a model, or we can look at this as a framework, which can really help us understand what our team members are and where we really can figure these, our team members, in which quadrangle we can put them. So this is x-axis shows the buy-in, and the y-axis on top shows the participation, low and high. When we look at these two quadrants, 1 and 2, 1 is actually talking about high participation but low buy-in. What is buy-in? We're talking about buy-in wherein employees are ready to accept what the leader is actually proposing, an idea or the final decision, whatever the leader is trying to take in, whether the employees or the team members are accepting and they are ready to take up this challenge. It can be a major challenge. It can be anything that you people are actually really having in your work zone, BSF. So 2 quadrants. So you're putting one of them, you can look at that, they are high on participation and low on buy-in. So these are 2 different things. And let's look at these 4 quadrangles in between the 1 and 2. The first one is talking about disagreement. We'll have many people in our team members who disagree, who are not nodding, they're not happy, they're not agreeing, they're not doing anything. They're just there. So you really get to know about these people because they don't do anything in their work. They are just doing their meticulously. You're giving them a task and they're assigned, they're supposed to be doing, and they do it. Not because they agree upon it, not because they disagree upon it. They're just made to do the task, and so they're doing it because they're getting the salary. So that is, with disagreement, they're doing the task. But when you look at the second quadrant, wherein some people avoid taking up challenges. There is a risky, assignment, and there are some people who do not want to take it up. But, because of compulsion, they're doing it. So there is no commitment, there is no buy-in. The buy-in factor is very less. The accountability is very less. Performance is again very less. They do it, but for the sake of doing it. So that because of the avoidance, this is a red zone. So, and then we look at cooperation. When we get cooperation from the employees, you can see that there is something of agreement. It is high on participation. They are participating very well. Though the buy-in, they're not completely okay with what the boss is saying. They have some doubts. They have some queries. They are okay with doing the work and they are ready to work because they feel that, okay, because I'm with the boss is good. Maybe the boss is making some sense. Maybe we have some little doubts. It is still okay. Let us follow the boss. So the cooperation is there by the employees or the team members. The last thing, the best part of any such, team members that we can see is commitment. If we see that the employees are committed, then you can see the performance, they're more accountable, they're more sincere to the job, and they bring in a lot of completion to the job and assignment. They're happy about doing a job and they're proud about doing the job. So this is where the 4 quadrants are, and we can look at our own team members and put them in all of these squares and see where we need to be working on, because we need to ultimately bring in the buy-in factor. Because if we can bring in the buy-in factor, then you can ensure that participation is going to be high. So our work as a team leader is that we bring in that buy-in factor. That brings in the accountability, and that brings the performance in any team. So I think with this, we can stop the session, because I think the time is also up for the second session. I hope I've done some kind of deliberation to come to a conclusion on accountability versus nurturing them, how to nurture in our team about accountability. And the responsibility part of it is, of course, there in all the employees. So any queries or anything that you really want to, if you have any queries, kindly, you can.
Right. I think the participants also need a tea break, ma'am.
Yeah.
And any queries, I'll definitely direct them to you, and we can share your email ID with the participants. Thank you so much, Dr. Latangi, for your time. We will be going for a 10 minutes break, and we will resume the next session at 12:48. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for your participation, and I'll see you again tomorrow.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, ma'am.
Yeah. My mail ID is down below. If there is anything, kindly.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Welcome back, everyone. I see that you are still having your tea. Right. Harinder Pal sir and Shailesh sir has come back. Vikram sir, I see you back. Let's wait for the others to come back as well. Devjit sir, Manoj sir, Raj sir. Yes. Sukhminder sir. Right. Thank you for keeping your cameras on. This is the only way that we know that you are connected back with us. And our new coach now, Dr. Bhavna Kumar, who will be taking the upcoming session. She is also here. Hi, Dr. Bhavna. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Namaste. Jai Hind to everybody.
Yes. So, Dr. Bhavna, I'll just briefly introduce you to our DIGs before you can begin the session. So DIGs, dear participants, Professor Bhavna Kumar, I'll just briefly introduce her to you. She is a distinguished academician, researcher, trainer, and a management consultant with a brilliant track record throughout her education and career. She has specialized in instrumentation and control engineering and has a work experience of over 30 years covering areas of strategic management, international business, project execution, project management, behavioral sciences, consultancy, research, teaching, and the list goes on. She has been actively involved in organizing a number of national and international seminars and research conferences, and has also been involved in various international accreditation exercises. And without much ado, I will give over the baton to Dr. Bhavna, who will be taking a session with you all on developing a solutions oriented mindset. Over to you, Dr. Bhavna.
Thank you so much, Tanvi. Namaste, Jai Hind. फिर से एक बार सबको. I just want to check. सब हिंदी में comfortable भी रहेंगे, इंग्लिश में दोनों will is या हिंदी भी चलेगी?
Comfortable, ma'am, comfortable in both languages.
हाँ नहीं, क्योंकि मैं कभी कभी हिंदी, मतलब मेरे को लगता है कि हिंदी में मैं कभी कभी ज्यादा बोलचाल अच्छी रहती है, मन की बात
Yes,
हिंदी
very
में निकल।
comfortable.
हाँ
हमारी भी हालत वैसी ही है, तो वी आर ऑन सेम ट्रैक।
बिल्कुल ठीक बात है सर। और दिल की बात जो है ना, हम आधा सोचते भी उसी में है। और जो स्पेशली ये वाली जर्नी जो मैंने लिखा है कि ये देखिए, आई कंसिडर माई सेल्फ टू बी अ स्टूडेंट ऑफ लाइफ, लाइफ लॉन्ग लर्नर मानती हूँ। आप सबका एक्सपीरियंस बहुत ज़्यादा डीप है, बहुत डिफरेंट है, और बहुत इसलिए ये कोई ट्रेनिंग सेशन की तरह से नहीं देखती हूँ मैं इसको, एक तरह से मैं शेयरिंग एक्सपीरियंस देखती हूँ कि आपस में थोड़ी बातचीत की जाए, थोड़ा सा समझा जाए, थोड़े एक्सपीरियंसेस मैं अपने शेयर करूँ, आप शेयर करें। और जो हमारी मैनेजमेंट थ्योरम्स हैं, जो हमने टेस्ट करी हैं, जो हमने इतने साल कंपनीज में बच्चों के साथ पढ़ा के आपस में काम करके देखी हैं, वो हम अगर थोड़ा शेयर करें तो थोड़ा सा स्ट्रक्चर्ड लर्निंग हो जाए। मेरा यही, दैट इज व्हाट माय एंडेवर विल बी, एंड आई एम वेरी हैप्पी टू बी हियर विद ऑल ऑफ यू नेक्स्ट के कुछ मिनटों के लिए। इससे पहले कि थोड़ा सा सेशन के बारे में बात करें, एक छोटा सा क्वेश्चन है कि सोचो कि आपने एक पिकनिक ऑर्गेनाइज करी या कोई शादी का फंक्शन ऑर्गेनाइज किया, और बड़ा अच्छा मौसम है। आज तो दिल्ली में तो बड़ा अच्छा मौसम है, मुझे पता नहीं आप लोग कहाँ हैं, पर बहुत अच्छी वाली धूप निकली हुई है, 20-21 डिग्री, जो स्प्रिंग कहते हैं ना कि बसंत मौसम में आने वाली है, ऐसे वाला लग रहा है यहाँ पे। तो इस मौसम में अगर पिकनिक रखी जाए बाहर, और अब स्नो तो हर जगह ही हो रही है, आप लोग तो कहीं हो सकता है वहां भी हो जहाँ पे स्नो पड़ी भी हुई हो, तो अगर सपोज बड़ा अच्छा फंक्शन है, सब कुछ आ गया, आपके बॉस ने भी आना है, और यहाँ शादी का फंक्शन है, गेस्ट आने वाले हैं, और बारिश हो जाए, तो क्या सोचेंगे आप?
हॉल में अरेंज कर लेंगे पिकनिक।
हॉल नहीं हुआ सर तो
प्लान बी इज ऑलवेज देयर।
अपने क्वार्टर में एक जगह कहीं बुला करके अरेंजमेंट कर लेंगे।
ये बिल्कुल प्लान,
एक कंटीजेंसी बना कर रखना पड़ेगा अभी।
टेंट लगा लेंगे।
टेंट लगा लेंगे, बिल्कुल वाटरप्रूफ टेंट बड़े अच्छे आते हैं सर, आदेव जी सर आजकल।
या
और
वाटरप्रूफ टेंट लगा लेंगे मैम।
कोई शुरू में जब इतना एक्सपीरियंस नहीं था, तो ऐसा एक हुआ था मेरे पास, मैंने बर्थडे पार्टी रखी थी अपने बच्चों की, इतना रोना धोना हुआ, पूरा घर ही सिर पे सवार हो गया कि अब क्या करें, सारा बर्बाद हो गया और नहीं हो गया। और वही अब करके ये है कि अब बच्चों से पूछो कि अगर ऐसा हो गया तो क्या करोगे, कहते हैं हम रेन डांस पार्टी कर लेंगे। आर्टिफिशियल रेन बना के डांस करने से अच्छा है कि नेचुरल भगवान ने मौसम दे दिया है, तो चलो डांस पार्टी वैसी हो जाएगी। तो आज के जो सेशन का भी ओरिएंटेशन वो ये है कि हर सिचुएशन में हम प्रॉब्लम ढूंढने और सोचने की बजाय सोल्यूशन, जो आप कह रहे हैं ना सर, प्लान बी कैसे सोचा जाए, और उसको हम कैसे माइंड सेट, तो आप लोग तो बहुत एक्सपीरियंस कर चुके हैं, उसको हम अपने लोगों में कैसे जागरूक कर सकते हैं। सो थोड़ा सा कोचिंग के बारे में बात करेंगे, थोड़ा सा माइंडसेट के बारे में बात करेंगे, और थोड़ा सा कुछ टेक्निकल चीजें डालने की कोशिश मैं करूंगी। आई फ्रैंकली थिंक, चाहे मैं मैनेजमेंट पढ़ाती रही हूँ पिछले 21 साल से, पर मैं सोचती हूँ MBA जितना प्रैक्टिकली मैनेजमेंट में करके सिखाया जा सकता है, वो थ्योरी से पढ़ के या 500 पेज की किताब पढ़ के नहीं समझाया जा सकता। तो आप लोग शायद ये इनसे मेजर जी से वाकिफ हो, कोई जना जो लेफ्ट में है, ये मेजर DP सिंह हैं, कारगिल वॉर के हीरो हैं। इन्होंने, इनका आप देखिए, इनका जो राइट वाला लेग है वो एक ब्लेड है, सो ही लॉस्ट हिज लेग and he has been running marathons, so he's known as the first blade runner of the country. तो ये मतलब दिस इज लाइक एन एक्सट्रीम इंस्पिरेशनल एग्जाम्पल फॉर मी। हमने एक पुराने BSF के सेशन में ही इनको बुलाया भी था, तन्वी को शायद याद हो, फॉर गिविंग अ लाइव सेशन विद एवरीबडी। की दिक्कत तो आती है, और मैं इनको इसलिए शेयर करने जा रही हूँ क्योंकि मुझे लगता है कि पिकनिक और बारिश आना वाला एग्जाम्पल तो बड़ा छोटा सा मैं देने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ आप लोगों की जिंदगी में, और आप लोगों जो आप हमारे बॉर्डर्स को सेफ रखते हैं, इन दैट सिचुएशन यू आर मोर लाइकली टू कम अप विद एक्सट्रीम प्रॉब्लम्स। ऐसे ही जो राइट की पिक्चर है, ये तो भी रिसेंट हमारी कंट्री का एग्जाम्पल है। समझ आ रहा है कि ये कौन सा एग्जाम्पल शेयर कर रही हूँ मैं?
सिलक्यारा टनल।
जी, सिलक्यारा टनल, जो कि मतलब बिल्कुल हिस्ट्री हो गई कि इससे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम कंट्री ने कहाँ देखी होगी और क्या सोच के, और हर तरह के चीजों को ट्राई किया गया और करा गया, और फाइनली अल्टीमेटली आई थिंक वी आर ऑल वेरी ग्लैड, भगवान भी ब्लेसिंग्स थी, वी फाउंड अ सोल्यूशन टू द प्रॉब्लम। तो आज के सेशन में भी यही है कि सोल्यूशन ओरिएंटेड माइंडसेट, अपने हाउ डू वी मेक आवरसेल्व्स, पहले अपने माइंडसेट को टेस्ट करेंगे। द सेशन का फ्लो ऐसा रहेगा कि हम क्या सोचते हैं। सो अ स्मॉल एक्सरसाइज दैट वी हैव फॉर ऑल ऑफ यू कि हमारा अभी का माइंडसेट क्या है। सॉल्यूशंस ओरिएंटेड थिंकिंग किसको कहते हैं, मैनेजमेंट थ्योरम्स वगैरह इस बारे में क्या कहती हैं, इसकी जरूरत क्या है, व्हाट इज द नीड, मतलब हम क्यों सोचते हैं कि ठीक है हम हो सकता है बहुत पॉजिटिव हों, हम हो सकता है बहुत सॉल्यूशंस रखते हैं, प्लान भी आप लोगों के पास रहता है, पर इसकी ट्रेनिंग की क्या जरूरत है ये देखेंगे। फिर देखेंगे कि अगर दूसरों में, बिकॉज आप सब लीडर्स हैं एंड देन यू आर ऑब्वियसली दिस सेशन इज ऑल अबाउट लीडरशिप एज वेल, तो अगर आपने कोच करना हो किसी को, क्या सॉल्यूशंस ओरिएंटेड माइंडसेट किसी को सिखाया जा सकता है, क्या किसी को उस बारे में कोच किया जा सकता है। तो उसमें जो 5 स्टेप्स कहने गए हैं कि उनको समझाना, कि प्रॉब्लम को क्लैरिफिकेशन करना, पार्टनरशिप विद ओनरशिप, अलग तरह के डाटा को एग्जामिन करना। म्यूट कर लेंगे सर,
योर माइक इज ऑन।
थैंक यू सो मच। एंड फिर मिलके को डेवलपमेंट ऑफ प्लान, मतलब हर जना ब्रेनस्टॉर्म करे, हर जना करे तो प्लान बी का CDE भी बन जाएगा, और कोलैबोरेट करके आपस में अपनी थिंकिंग को चैलेंज करके सेलिब्रेट और रिफ्लेक्ट किया जाए। और फिर इस बारे में फिर से रिफ्लेक्ट करेंगे कि इतनी थ्योरम्स और इतना कुछ अगर हम सीख चुके हैं, तो अब फर्स्ट उस पे आएंगे कि कोई ऐसी सिचुएशन आ जाए हमारे सामने जिसमें हमें लगे कि सब कुछ हाथ धो के बैठना है, या हमारा जो जूनियर है वो बैठ रहा है, तो उसको कैसे फिर से सिखाया जाए। कोई क्वेश्चन, कोई सजेशन इस पॉइंट पे? आगे बढ़े। आगे बढ़ने के लिए एक्चुअली आप लोगों से ही करूंगी कि मैं तो पिकनिक का एग्जांपल दे रही हूँ, मैंने मेजर जी का एग्जांपल दिया। आप लोगों में तो बहुत सारी ऐसी प्रॉब्लम ऐसा आया होगा जिसमें आपको कोई ना कोई एक ऑल्टरनेटिव सिचुएशन को हैंडल करने के लिए सोल्यूशन ढूंढना पड़ा होगा। कोई ऐसा रीसेंट एग्जांपल जो आप लोग शेयर करना चाहें तो इट विल हेल्प अस टू मेक दीज कॉन्वर्सेशंस मच बेटर। कोई रीसेंट एग्जांपल, कोई डिफरेंट एग्जांपल, जैसे पिछले वाले बैच में किसी ने बोला था कि कभी कि कहीं टनल करनी थी। हाँ जी राज जी, आप कुछ कहना चाह रहे हैं?
मैम इसमें मैं सिलगुड़ा से शुरू करना चाहूंगा, बिकॉज मैम मैं अभी डिप्यूटेशन में हूँ मैम, देहरादून में, और DIG पुलिस ट्रेनिंग प्लस एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी में USD में देख रहा हूँ। तो जिस दिन मैम 12 अक्टूबर को जब ये इंसिडेंट हुआ, 12 नवंबर को, तो मॉर्निंग के टाइम पे, तो जब जैसे ही हमारा, बिकॉज आई वॉज मैनिंग SEOC, तो हमारे यहाँ पे एक स्टेट इमरजेंसी ऑप्स कंट्रोल रूम होता है मैम, जो कि डिस्ट्रिक्ट इमरजेंसी ऑप्स कंट्रोल रूम से जुड़ा होता है। तो जहाँ पे ये टनलिंग वाला काम हो रहा था सिलक्यारा में, अपना सिलक्यारा बरकोट के बीच में, तो सिलक्यारा साइड से जो तकरीबन 200 मीटर अंदर की साइड में, तो वो केबलिन पोर्शन हो गया, और उसमें तकरीबन 41 बंदे जो लेबरर्स थे वो अंदर फंस गए, स्टकअप हो गए। तो उस टाइम पे ये हो गया, वहां पे डिसीजन मेकिंग मतलब कुछ भी नहीं थी उस टाइम पे, उस पर्टिकुलर मोमेंट पे। तो हमें 9:15 पे इंफॉर्मेशन पता लगी। हम लोग दिवाली का दिन था उस दिन। तो जैसे पता लगा तो वी ऑल रश टुवर्ड्स द, हमारा जो यहाँ पे SEOC वहाँ पे आए, हम लोग सब फटाफट जाके वहाँ से उनसे कांटेक्ट किया। वहाँ पे जो उनके साइट मैनेजर थे NHI DCL के और प्लस BRO वाले, तो उनसे पता किया कि भाई क्या हुआ है। तो जैसे सिचुएशन पता की तो ये रहा कि अभी इस टाइम पे इमीडिएटली अभी क्या किया जाए। तो मैम तो हम लोगों ने उस टाइम पे पूरी मशीनरी ने जो डायरेक्शंस यहाँ से दिए गए, जो मतलब जो भी हमने सिचुएशन को एसेस करके किया, तो सबसे पहला जो ये था कि भाई जो लोग अंदर स्टकअप हो गए हैं, तो सबसे पहले उनको जो ऑक्सीजन किस तरह से दी जाए, जो सबसे पहला ये हमारा बहुत बड़ा क्रूशियल पॉइंट था, बिकॉज उनका जिंदा रहना बहुत जरूरी था। वो सर्वाइव कैसे करते हैं, सस्टेन कैसे करते हैं, तो किसी को वहां पे कुछ समझ नहीं आ रही थी कि कैसे करके देंगे। तो फिर फटाफट से वहां पता लगा कि साहब यहाँ पे एक पानी की पाइपलाइन भी है अंदर, जो नल, जो लोहे की पाइपलाइन गई हुई है। तो फटाफट से फिर बताया कि भाई पाइपलाइन आता है, ठीक है, फटाफट से तो उसको जो अपने कंप्रेशर्स थे उनके साथ में जो ऑक्सीजन वाला जो जंबो सेट था उसके साथ जोड़ करके इमीडिएटली उनको वो अपना वहां पे ऑक्सीजन को अंदर भेजा गया। फिर पानी की बात आई तो पानी का भी करवाया गया। फिर इस तरह से मैम शाम होती गई। अब ये हुआ कि वहाँ पे एक्सेसिबिलिटी का था कि वहाँ पे मैम कोई लैंडिंग एरिया कहीं था ही नहीं, कि ताकि वहाँ पे एनडीआरएफ के ट्रुप्स हो गए या कोई और अगर हमने कोई फोर्सेस वहाँ पे भेजनी है या वहाँ पे कोई रेस्क्यू टीम्स भेजनी है बल्क में या कोई रिसोर्सेज भेजने हैं, तो ये मतलब काफी बड़ा टास्क था। तो इमीडिएटली मैम 12 बजे से वहाँ पे हेलीपैड बनाना शुरू हुआ सियालना में। तो विद इन 3 आवर्स वो हेलीपैड भी तैयार हो गया, मतलब Mi-17 लैंड करने लायक वहां पे हो गया। उसी तरह से चिनाली रोड वाली हवाई पट्टी थी, उसको भी तैयार किया गया। तो मैम कहने का मतलब ये है कि इस तरह की सिचुएशंस में हमको बड़ा एक्सटेम्पोरी, बड़ा इम्प्रॉम्प्चू सोचना पड़ता है कि सिचुएशन के अनुसार से। तो हम लोगों ने, जो हमारी टीम थी, जो वहां पे मौके पे लोग थे, उन लोगों ने बहुत सारे ऐसे स्टेप लिए कि वो लोग हिट एंड ट्राई करते रहे। लाइकवाइज आप लोगों ने देखा होगा ऑगर मशीन कि नॉर्मल तो जो ड्रिलिंग होती है वर्टिकल ड्रिलिंग होती है, तो उस टाइम पे वहां पे कोई ऑगर मशीन थी नहीं, तो लखवाड़ करके जगह वहां से फटाफट से ऑगर मशीन बुलाई गई। तो जितना उससे हो सकता था वो भी काम किया गया, साथ साथ में मैनुअल भी काम किया गया। तो मैम हमको कोई भी सिचुएशन को अगर टैकल करना है, इस तरह की अगर कोई कंटीजेंसी आती है, क्राइसिस आते हैं, तो हमको केवल एक ऑप्शन पे ही काम नहीं करना चाहिए। ये लेसन लर्न हुआ है। बाकी हमको मल्टीपल ऑप्शंस को रखना चाहिए और साथ में हमारे ऑप्शन ए ऑप्शन बी और साथ में हमारे स्टैंड बाय बैकअप्स भी साथ में होने चाहिए। तो ये मैं कहना चाहता हूँ। और अल्टीमेटली 17 डेज के बाद में मैम वो सेफली सभी के सभी निकल गए। तो इसमें सेंटर ने भी और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट प्लस हमारे जितने भी स्टेक होल्डर्स थे वहां पे, सब लोगों ने काफी उसमें मदद में कलेक्टिव।
बिल्कुल। और सर यही अब ये तो मैं तो क्योंकि बड़ा आई वॉज वेरी एज अ प्राउड इंडियन, तो मैंने तो लिया। अब आपका तो खुद ही का एक्सपीरियंस निकल आया, तो इससे बेटर क्या हो सकता है। पर इसी में बिफोर आई इनवाइट अदर्स आल्सो शेयर एक्सपीरियंसेस, राजी क्योंकि आप थे, तो ये बताइए कि आपके अंडर जो जूनियर्स वगैरह होंगे, कोई घबरा भी गए होंगे, कुछ सोच रहे होंगे अरे सर अब क्या करें। तो क्योंकि हमारा जो नेक्स्ट इस सेशन का एक और ऑब्जेक्टिव ये है कि हम बाकियों में भी ये कैसे थिंकिंग सोचें कि हर प्रॉब्लम का सोल्यूशन हो सकता है, अपना काम जरूर सोच।
यस मैम, वेरी ट्रू मैम। जैसे ही मैम 9:15 पे हमको पता लगा, तो 9:20 पे मेरे वहां पे जो साइट इंजीनियर थे वहां पे मिस्टर मलिक, उनसे बात हुई। और दिवाली का टाइम था, तो मैम क्या हुआ कि वहां पे लोग भी काफी कम थे कंपैरेटिवली। तो मतलब ही वाज फुली, मतलब ही वाज टोटली फ्लेमॉक्स्ड कि मैं करूं क्या करूं, अभी इतना पोर्शन नीचे आ गया है, अब क्या करूं, किसको बुलाऊं। तो मैम हम लोगों ने उसकी बड़ी सांत्वना भी दी, साथ में उसको एक सिस्टम को इस ढंग से एक्टिवेट किया कि उसको एक काफी सपोर्ट भी मिला, मतलब उसको एक हर तरह से सपोर्ट दिया उसको। और जितनी भी हमारी जो मशीनरी थी पड़कोट वाली साइड से, वहां से मोबिलाइज कराई। उसके साथ साथ हमने जो स्टेट की तरफ से हमारे जो एक्सपर्ट थे यहाँ पे, फटाफट यहाँ से स्पेशलिस्ट की टीम जो हमारी यूएलएमसी मैम जो लैंड स्लाइडिंग को देखती हैं, वो भी यूएसडी में का पार्ट है, उनके डायरेक्टर को, प्लस रुड़की से एक इंजीनियर बुला करके वाडिया इंस्टीट्यूट से जो हिमालयन जियोलॉजी को देखते हैं, एक टीम कंसोलिडेट करके फटाफट उनको एयरलिफ्ट करके वहां पे भेजा, सो दैट एटलीस्ट ही हैज गॉट सम स्टैंड बाय बैकअप टू डील विद द सिचुएशन। तभी मैम जो बीआरओ के भी हमारे इंजीनियर्स भी पहुंच गए वहां पे। तो मैम विद इन द स्टिपुलेटेड टाइम पीरियड ऑफ 3+ आवर्स, तो मैक्सिमम सपोर्ट सिस्टम वाज देयर एज ए स्टैंड बाय मैकेनिज्म। तो ये चीजें उनको काफी मोटिवेशनल रही। उसके साथ साथ हमारा जो मेडिकल बैकअप था मैम, हमारे जो स्पेशलिस्ट थे, हम लोगों ने उनको भी फटाफट वहाँ पे एक जो बेस, एक जो अपना एक मतलब जो इम्प्रोवाइज हॉस्पिटल वहाँ पे तैयार किया जाता है, प्लस वहाँ पे जितने एम्बुलेंसेस का था, एयर एम्बुलेंसेस तक का मैम हम लोगों ने वहाँ पे प्रोविजन करवाया। तो ये चीज़ें जो मैम इनिशियल स्टेज पे, क्योंकि बिकॉज मैम बाद में तो ठीक सस्टेनेबिलिटी आ जाती है और एक चीजें बिल्डअप होना शुरू हो जाती हैं, लेकिन जो इनिशियल गोल्डन आवर्स होते हैं, खासकर 5 से 6 घंटे वाले, जो वो बहुत बड़े क्रूशियल्स होते हैं। उसमें वहां पे जो लोग काम कर रहे हैं, उनका कॉन्फिडेंस, उनका मनोबल, हर तरफ से साइकोलॉजिकली भी उनका बहुत बड़ा वो मेंटेन करने की जरूरत पड़ती है। इवन हम लोगों ने मैम वहाँ पे जो जो अपने साइकोलॉजिस्ट थे, उनसे भी पाइप के थ्रू और तार डाल के अंदर उनसे बातें करवाते रहे, ताकि एटलीस्ट कहीं पे भी अगर उनमें कहीं पे भी क्लूम आती है, तो एटलीस्ट वो उस चीज को ओवरकम करे। तो ये मैम हमारा बेसिक जो हमारा रेजिमेंट था, मैकेनिज्म हम लोगों ने ऐसे फॉलो किया मैम, बिसाइड्स अदर थिंग्स।
एक दूसरे को साथ में सांत्वना देना, कोच करना, और वो सीखना कि क्या चीज सबसे ज्यादा, जैसे आपने कहा सबसे पहले ऑक्सीजन जाना है। इवन जो अंदर ट्रैप थे उनमें भी यही था कि आपस में एक दूसरे को संभाल के कैसे रखना, सडनली पैनिक नहीं होना चाहिए। सडनली कुछ नहीं होना चाहिए। अब मैं तो बड़ी इंस्पायर हुई थी वो जापान एयरलाइन वाला एग्जांपल देख के, कि पूरा प्लेन आ गया 90 सेकेंड्स में उन्होंने प्लेन इवैक्यूएट किया। तो मतलब कितना, आप सोचो कितना अच्छे से ऑर्गेनाइज होके कर रहा होगा। और ऐसे ही एग्जांपल्स हमारी कंट्री में बीएसएफ में भी जरूर होंगे। कोई और शेयर करना चाहेगा? मतलब मैं तो बहुत सारे पर्सनल एग्जांपल्स भी देख सकती हूँ। हर जरा इस बारे में सोचें तो वी विल बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड कि किस तरह से हम अपनी थिंकिंग को, या अपने बच्चों की थिंकिंग को, या अपने स्टाफ की थिंकिंग को, या अपने को भी उनको बोल सकते हैं कि कभी भी वो ये नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि यहाँ पे ये गड़बड़ हो गई है, कोई एग्जाम में नंबर कम आ गए हैं। मैं तो अपने बच्चों के साथ भी यही फेस किया है कि सोल्यूशन जरूर है हर चीज का, और वो थिंकिंग अगर हम डेवलप कर पाए तो हो सकता है। कोई और एनी अदर पर्सन वुड लाइक टू शेयर? राजी, थैंक यू फॉर योर एग्जाम।
थैंक यू मैम।
एनीबडी एल्स वुड लाइक टू शेयर? चलो ये तो शेयर करते रहेंगे। कोई बोलना चाहेगा अभी? दिस इज वन ऑफ माई वेरी फेवरेट कोट्स, कि सबको आग ढूंढने की जल्दी रहती है, पर आग बुझाने वाला कौन है? तो आप सब मेरे ख्याल से ऐसी सिचुएशन में जरूर रहे होंगे कि आग लग गई, आग लगी। हम ये सोचते हैं अरे कोई एक्सीडेंट हो गया, अरे एक्सीडेंट हो गया। आजकल की दुनिया में ये हाल है, लोग फोटो खींचते रहते हैं और सोशल मीडिया पे डालते रहते हैं एक्सीडेंट हो गया। मदद करने वाले कहाँ हैं? कितने लोग? Should we move on? Anybody would like to share any other example at this point of time? We are talking about दो तरह के माइंडसेट जो थ्योरीज में है। एक है प्रॉब्लम ओरिएंटेड माइंडसेट, जिसको बोलते हैं फिक्स्ड माइंडसेट। जैसे कभी कभी मेरे को लगता था कि होता है ना कि जो हमारे बड़े बूढ़े हैं उनकी थिंकिंग को चेंज करना थोड़ा मुश्किल है कुछ चीजों में, कि कुछ ट्रेडिशनल थिंकिंग हो सकती है जब किसी के घरों में कि बेटियों को काम नहीं करना चाहिए, वो फिक्स्ड माइंडसेट की बातें हैं। और सॉल्यूशंस ओरिएंटेड थिंकिंग ग्रोथ माइंडसेट की बातें हैं। तो दो तरह के माइंडसेट भी डिवाइड किया गया है। आपके हिसाब से फिक्स्ड माइंडसेट के एग्जांपल्स आप क्या दे सकते हैं?
मैडम, इफ यू परमिट, आई वांट टू स्पीक।
जी सर, ऑफ कोर्स। आप लोग ही ज्यादा बोलिए सर, मैं तो शेयरिंग के लिए आया है।
हाँ मैडम, ये जो भी आपने परिवार के अंदर का बोला, मेरे परिवार में ही मतलब कुछ लोग ऐसे मिलते हैं, तो मेरे परिवार में ही कुछ लोग ऐसे हैं जो कि प्रॉब्लम ओरिएंटेड थिंकर, मतलब दे विल नेवर थिंक फॉर सॉल्यूशन, दे विल ऑलवेज थिंक फॉर नेगेटिव थिंग्स एंड हाउ पीपल विल गेट स्टक अप, हाउ टू कम आउट फ्रॉम दैट, वो सोचने वाले कुछ लोग हैं। तो दोनों में से जिसका पल्ला भारी होता है, अब वो रिलेशन भी मेंटेन करना है, तो जो प्रॉब्लम ओरिएंटेड थिंकर है, यू कैन नॉट से डायरेक्टली टू देम कि भाई यू आर प्रॉब्लम ओरिएंटेड करके बोलेंगे तो अच्छा यू आर पॉइंटिंग मी आउट, तो फिर जो है वेरी डिप्लोमेटिकली रिक्वायर्ड टू हैंडल देम। तो इस प्रकार की सिचुएशन आती है। सेम सिचुएशन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर भी आती है कि though we know that they are problem oriented thinker, but if you say it directly to them, then it becomes a problem. तो उसमें diplomatically we have to bring them, try to persuade them to agree with the person who is giving the solution oriented things. Thank you madam.
बिल्कुल एब्सोल्युटली सर। मतलब और अगर हम फिक्स्ड माइंडसेट देखें तो जनरली अगर उनको बोला जाए, वो होते हैं कि बस अब ये काम नहीं हो सकता तो नहीं हो सकता, या दूसरों के ऊपर ब्लेम डालने के लिए तैयार रहते हैं, या सोचते हैं कि अब भाई दुनिया खत्म हो गई तो हो गई। अगर हम कोविड का एग्जाम्पल है, कोविड से बेटर तो कोई एग्जाम्पल ही नहीं है कि हमने किस तरह से उसमें ग्रो भी किया। इंडिया ने कितने हिसाब से वैक्सीन इकट्ठी करी, पूरी कंट्री को दरी करने को। तो ये भी हो सकता था कि अरे अब कोविड हो गया, घर बैठो। आप लोगों ने तो बॉर्डर्स पे भी बहुत ऐसी सिचुएशंस उन दिनों में भी करी होंगी। एजुकेशन इंडस्ट्री में हमने देखा, स्कूल कॉलेज सब बंद हो गए, कितनी जल्दी सबने ट्रांजिशन किया और ऑनलाइन लर्निंग पे आ गए। ऑफ कोर्स जो हम सेशन आपके साथ लेते हैं उसका कोई सब्स्टिट्यूट नहीं है, अगर हम फेस टू फेस मिलकर बातें करें तो ज्यादा अच्छा रहता है, पर कम से कम एक सोल्यूशन तो लिया गया। ये तो नहीं हुआ कि क्योंकि कोविड हो गया सब आइसोलेशन में बैठ जाओ और कमरा बंद करके बैठ जाओ। या कभी कोई बीमार हो जाता है तो हम कहते हैं कि अब बस अब आप एक कमरे में हो, कुछ नहीं कर सकते। या कोई रिटायर हो जाता है आफ्टर 60 तो होता है कि अब तो ये लाइफ खत्म हो गई, अब क्या करें। विज़ावी आप देखो एक 100 साल के भी हैं जो कि अभी तक मैराथन भी रन करते हैं लोग, तो कहने को आप कहो कि आप कुछ नहीं हो सकता जी।
इसी में मैडम एक और चीज आपको साथ शेयर करना चाहूंगा। मेरे परिवार में ही हमारे मतलब उसके अंदर एक बच्चा ठीक ठाक था पढ़ाई में 10-12 तक, और उसके बाद जब वो ग्रेजुएशन में गया तो कंटिन्यूअस सेमेस्टर्स में कुछ सब्जेक्ट्स में उसके बैक आने शुरू हो गए। 4 सेमेस्टर 5 सेमेस्टर तक, तो टोटल 8 सेमेस्टर, तो 5 सेमेस्टर तक बैक आने शुरू हो गए। अब जो है जब उसके माता पिता उसे डायरेक्ट बात करते थे तो बच्चा बोलता था कि नहीं सब कुछ ठीक है, वैसा कुछ नहीं है। और फिर वो माँ बाप परेशान हो गए कि अब क्या होगा, अब क्या होगा, देयर इज नो सॉल्यूशन, ये बच्चा तो ठीक ठाक था, क्या हो रहा है। तो उन्होंने मुझे थोड़ा मेरे परिवार में ठीक ठाक मानते तो मेरे को पूछा होना, तो मैंने उस बच्चे के साथ में बच्चा बन करके जैसे दोस्त बात करते हैं उस प्रकार से बातचीत किया उसके साथ में। तो पता चला वो बच्चा जो था, दो ही वॉज ए गुड स्टूडेंट, फर्स्ट टाइम अपने परिवार के सुपरविजन के पेरेंट के सुपरविजन से बाहर गया था, एंड ही गॉट ग्लूड अप स्टक अप इन द सोशल मीडिया। वो 24 घंटे अपना वो स्मार्टफोन में वो वही करता रहता था। तो फिर उसके बाद मैंने उसको बताया कि भाई क्या आप अपने फ्यूचर को ऐसे ही चलना देना चाहते हो या सुधारना चाहते, जो हो गया वो तो कुछ नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन अभी आपके 3 सेमेस्टर और बाकी हैं, तो क्या आप वही पुराना वाला ही करना चाहते हो या कुछ करना चाहते हो, आप कैसे। तो देन ही टोल्ड कि हाँ ये जो सोशल मीडिया है ये मेरा प्रॉब्लम है, तो मैं अपना जो है ये जो स्मार्टफोन है इसको मैं हटाना चाहता हूँ, और जो नॉर्मल पुराना वाला है वो मेरे को दे दो, जिससे कि एंड आफ्टर दैट उसके 2-3 सेमेस्टर जो हैं वो ठीक ठाक हो गए। एंड इन दिस वे द सॉल्यूशन ओरिएंटेड थिंकिंग टाइप का कुछ शायद मैंने किया।
नहीं बिल्कुल क्या, और ये थोड़ा जब हम अभी कोचिंग और मेंटरिंग की बात करेंगे ना सुब्रत जी, तो वो बिल्कुल परफेक्ट एग्जांपल है जो आप बोल रहे हो कि हम सिर्फ पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव वाली बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, हम ग्रोथ की भी बात कर रहे हैं। हम ये कह रहे हैं कि वो गूढ़ सिम्टम की जगह प्रॉब्लम को समझा जाए। और आजकल तो हमारी एजुकेशन इंडस्ट्री में तो आप देख रहे हैं अनफॉर्चुनेटली, कभी कानपुर में कभी कोटा में भी हियर ऑफ सो मेनी केसेस की, अभी जो लेटेस्ट एक लड़की का उसने यही लिखा कि बस अब मेरे लिए यही ऑप्शन है। तो वो तो दैट इज नॉट अ सोल्यूशन। मतलब बच्चा जो, इसलिए जो आपने एग्जांपल दिया वो बिल्कुल रेलेवेंट है इस माइंडसेट पे। दिमाग वाली बात है ना कि अगर हम कहते हैं, अभी भी हम अगर बच्चों को यही कहते हैं कि नहीं तुम्हें इंजीनियरिंग और मेडिसिन ही करना है, जबकि दुनिया में इतना कुछ और हो रहा है, तो कहीं ना कहीं ये तो फिक्स्ड माइंडसेट और एक प्रॉब्लम है ना हमारी सोसाइटी की। सब कुछ नीट या JEE या IIT या UPSC या फोर्सेस से तो नहीं है ना। लाइफ इज लाइफ। Anybody else would like to comment?
मैडम आपने कोविड की बात की।
जी सर।
कोविड में क्या हुआ कि हमारे जो फोर्स पर्सनल हैं क्वारंटीन सेंटर काफी हो गए, और काफी दिनों बाद वो क्वारंटीन सेंटर भर गए। ड्यूटी के लिए आपके पास बंदे चाहिए, वो कम हो गए। और कुछ लोग उसमें से ऐसे थे जो काम कर सकते थे, जो सिर्फ अफेक्टेड थे, पॉजिटिव रिपोर्ट आई थी, लेकिन देवर हेल एंड हार्टी। तो व्हाट वी डिड इन कश्मीर, तो हमने उन लोगों को ग्रुप बनाया, और जो 14 दिन का जो ग्रुप 14 दिन का क्वारंटीन है वो उनको एक पर्टिकुलर कैंपस दे दिया या मोर्चे दे दिए। उनकी ड्यूटी भी ठीक ठाक हुई, और हमारी मैन पावर की जो क्रंच था वो भी सॉल्व हो गया। और क्योंकि वो एंगेज थे और एक्टिविटीज में शामिल थे, तो वो जल्दी स्वस्थ भी हो गए। तो कोविड में भी हम लोगों ने ऐसे इसको जो सोल्यूशन कैसे उसको मतलब कोविड को कैसे टैकल किया वो मैं बताना चाह रहा हूँ।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। और मतलब आगे तो बढ़ना ही है ना, ग्रोथ के लिए ही बढ़ना है, नेगेटिविटी कुछ भी छोड़ना है, और ग्रोथ मतलब कुछ भी हो एक, और यहाँ से रास्ता नहीं जाएगा तो यहाँ से जाएगा, वो वाली ढूंढने वाली बात है। बिल्कुल, थैंक यू कवलजीत फॉर शेयरिंग। कोई और कुछ शेयर करना चाहेंगे, या कोई क्वेश्चन या कोई कमेंट? जब हम बात कर रहे हैं सॉल्यूशंस ओरिएंटेड या ग्रोथ, मेरा फेवरेट वर्ड सॉल्यूशन की जगह ना ग्रोथ है, कि आगे बढ़ना है। जरूरी नहीं है कि हम जो काम कर रहे हो वो सब कुछ ही ठीक हो, पर यह है कि अगर अगर हम यही सोचते रहेंगे कि हमारी कंट्री में सड़कों पे गड्ढा है, यहाँ पे पोल्यूशन है, गार्बेज है, प्लास्टिक है, मैं जब भी क्रॉस करती हूँ तो वो बड़े बड़े गार्बेज के डंप हैं, तो या तो हम वही सोचते रहे, तो या फिर हम ग्रोथ सोचें कि हम आगे बढ़ के क्या कर सकते हैं। वो जो महात्मा गांधी जी कहते थे ना, बी द चेंज दैट यू वांट टू सी इन द वर्ल्ड। तो सोल्यूशन हम ही ने ढूंढना है और हम ही ने लोगों को भी उस तरह से गाइड करना है। उसमें 3 चीजें आती हैं, हमारा बिहेवियर, हमारा एटीट्यूड और हमारा पर्सपेक्टिव। हम किस तरह से चीजों को किस नजर से देखते हैं। तो अपना माइंडसेट को परखने के लिए एक छोटा सा क्वेश्चनर है, आप लोगों की भी हैंडबुक पे पेज नंबर 111 पे है। वैसे क्वेश्चंस यहाँ पे भी हमने डाल दिए, पर आप पेज 111 अगर खोल लें तो हम बिफोर वी गो टू कि लोगों के माइंडसेट की बात, पहले वी वांट टू सी कि हम माइंडसेट से किस तरह की क्वेश्चंस को रिलेट करके अपना माइंडसेट निकाल लेते हैं कि हम खुद फिक्स्ड माइंडसेट के हैं या फ्लेक्सिबल माइंडसेट के हैं या ग्रोथ माइंडसेट के हैं। 111 पेज पे है सर, यही वाला है ना, करेक्ट? 20 क्वेश्चंस होंगे उसमें।
यस मैम, यही है
जी। 20 क्वेश्चंस हैं और आप पहले क्वेश्चंस देख लीजिए। उसके ऑप्शंस आर स्ट्रांगली एग्री, अगर आप स्ट्रांगली एग्री करते हैं, या एग्री, डिसएग्री, स्ट्रांगली डिसएग्री। और जो इसकी स्कोरिंग है वो कुछ क्वेश्चन की उल्टी है, उल्टी मतलब स्ट्रांगली एग्री में 0 पॉइंट है और कुछ क्वेश्चन की स्ट्रांगली एग्री में 3 पॉइंट्स है। तो वो मैं बाद में बताऊंगी, पहले आप स्ट्रांगली एग्री, एग्री, डिसएग्री, स्ट्रांगली डिसएग्री वो लिख लीजिए अब 20 क्वेश्चन में। तो इसमें डिफरेंट तरह के हमने स्टेटमेंट्स लिए हैं। दिस इज ऑफ कोर्स टेकन फ्रॉम अ वेल वैलिडेटेड स्केल। जो हम अभी बात करते हैं कि लोगों की थिंकिंग ये है कि भाई तुम तो पैदा ही नालायक हुए हो। तो कुछ लोग ऐसा सोचते हैं कि भाई तुम है ही नहीं, पर इंटेलिजेंस पैदा होने से होती है या चेंज की जा सकती है, पहला क्वेश्चन वो है। किसी क्वेश्चन पे कोई डाउट हो तो पूछ लीजिएगा। सेकेंड क्वेश्चन इज अगेन अबाउट कि हम, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि हमारा IQ अगर 10 है तो 20 नहीं हो सकता, या ऐसा है कि हम अगर जितना भी हमें भगवान ने अकल दी है उतनी ही रहेगी। If any statement is not clear, I can elaborate. Otherwise,
strongly agree के लिए 1 and strongly disagree।
सर अलग अलग है, अलग अलग है। तो जो क्वेश्चन 1 4 ये पहले मेरी स्क्रीन पे देख लीजिएगा। इन क्वेश्चन के लिए स्ट्रांगली एग्री पे 0 है, एग्री पे 1 है, और जो इनसे उल्टे क्वेश्चन है उस पे उल्टा है। उल्टे का मतलब है कि स्ट्रांगली एग्री पे 3 है और एग्री पे 2 है, डिसएग्री पे 1 है, स्ट्रांगली डिसएग्री पे 2 है। तो थोड़ा जब हम स्केल बनाते हैं तो कभी कभी थोड़ा कंफ्यूजिंग जान के डालते हैं कि आप लोग ये तो नहीं कर रहे कि सब में 3 डाल दिया और सब में स्कोर कर लिया। तो थोड़ा सा दिमाग लगा के करना होता है। तो स्कोरिंग मैं स्क्रीन पे दोनों दिखा दूंगी कि किन क्वेश्चंस में स्ट्रांगली एग्री पे 0 देना है, 0 to 3 उस तरह से बढ़ रहा है, और किन में उल्टा बढ़ रहा है, मतलब 3 to 1 0। किसी के पास अगर हैंडबुक पास नहीं हो तो बता दीजिएगा, मैं क्वेश्चन भी स्क्रीन पे दिखा दूंगी।
Otherwise, the scale is that strongly disagree is 0, disagree is 1, agree 2, and strongly agree 3. Otherwise,
for these, yes sir, हाँ, for questions 2 3 5 6 9 10 13 15 18, it is strongly disagree is 0 and strongly agree is 3. And for the rest of the questions, strongly disagree is 3 and strongly agree is 0. आप उसमें पहले SAADSD भर लीजिए, उसके बाद हम स्कोरिंग कर लेंगे। तो पहले 20 क्वेश्चंस के अगेंस्ट SAADSD इस तरह से भर लीजिए। फिर किस में 0 देना है, किस में 1 देना है, वो हम स्कोरिंग तब कर लेंगे जब सबके मार्क हो जाते हैं।
9 and 10 questions are same.
ऐसा भी होता है सर कभी।
Question number 9 and question number 10.
तो इसका मतलब आप अच्छे से कर रहे हैं, थैंक यू। ये सर डुप्लीकेट क्वेश्चन, एक्स्ट्रा क्वेश्चन, ये सब ट्रिक क्वेश्चंस होते हैं। लेट मी नो व्हेन यू वांट मी टू स्विच द स्लाइड। वैसे तो अपरेंट है कि इन क्वेश्चंस में ये है, अगर स्कोरिंग तो इनसे दूसरे क्वेश्चंस में उल्टी स्कोरिंग है। किसी ने अगर कर लिया हो स्कोर तो वो भी शेयर अगर करना चाहें तो आप कर सकते हैं। Anybody has been able to score so far? स्कोरिंग के साथ साथ आई वुड रेकमेंड कि ना क्वेश्चंस पे भी ध्यान दीजिएगा, थोड़ा सा आइडिया हो जाएगा कि हम फिक्स्ड और ग्रोथ किस तरह से बोल रहे हैं। जैसे होता है ना कि एक ही तरह के लोग स्पोर्ट्स में अच्छे हो सकते हैं, मैं तो स्पोर्ट्स कर ही नहीं सकता, या मुझे तो ये आ ही नहीं सकता, या जैसे मैथ्स को लेके होता है ना, नहीं नहीं मैथ्स तो सबसे डिफिकल्ट चीज है। और ये तो मेरा तो पर्सनल एग्जाम्पल है, मैं जानती हूँ ऐसे को जो कि मैथ्स को डरते हुए, हेट करते हुए अब वो मैथ्स में ही स्पेशलाइज करना चाहते हैं कुछ लोग। Any doubt about the scoring? किसी ने कर लिया सर स्कोर? मुझे लगता है सब बहुत लर्न करने की कोशिश चल रही है सब में, अच्छी बात है। थर्टी 32 बलवंत जी, थैंक यू। हैंडबुक में इससे पहले 3-4 जो और पॉइंट्स हैं वो भी आई वुड एनकरेज कि जब भी आपको कभी आगे टाइम मिले तो उसको यूज करिएगा जरूर स्पेस को, बिकॉज वो सारी जो एक्सरसाइजेज हैं उसमें जो हमने नोट्स बनाए हैं, जो आर्टिकल्स ढूंढे हैं, वो कभी भी एज अ लाइट रीडिंग या दूसरी रीडिंग जस्ट गो थ्रू देम, दे विल जस्ट हेल्प यू टू रिमेम्बर इट। जहां तक मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है आप सब में ही ग्रोथ माइंडसेट है और सोल्यूशन ओरिएंटेड है, तभी तो BSF इज व्हाट इट इज। बट ये इस चीज को बार बार अगर रीइंफोर्स करें और अपने जूनियर्स को, अपनी फैमिली को, अपने छोटों को, अपनी बाकी कंट्री के आगे वाले लोगों को करते रहें, तो उसके लिए वो अगर आप पढ़ोगे आर्टिकल्स या लोगों ने क्या किया या किसी ने उस चीज को कैसे अप्रोच किया, और स्पेशली जो कमेंट्स हैं जो हमने छोटी छोटी एक्सरसाइजेस दी हुई हैं पार्टिसिपेंट हैंडबुक में, वो इसीलिए दिए कि वो आपके साथ रहें एंड देन यू कैन ऑलवेज गो बैक टू इट टू यूज इट। हरिंदर जी 59 आप बिल्कुल, हाउ नाइस, वेरी नाइस। So if there is no other question on this particular part of the session, and then if everybody allows, and Tanvi, we can then maybe take a break for lunch, because it is almost lunchtime before I begin the next segment.
Yes.
And
yes.
I'm happy to stay back for another 1 or 2 minutes in case somebody has a question about this particular exercise, or they want to just have an understanding about the scoring or something. But
Yes.
otherwise, if it is okay, then we can announce the break as well. But I'm around for 1 or 2 minutes so that this exercise winds up.
Yes. So we will resume Dr. Bhavna's session post lunch also. And if you have any doubts, you can discuss for 1 or 2 minutes now, or we can discuss post lunch break. All right. So let's have lunch. All right, Dr. Bhavna.
Okay. So
Yes.
I think we
resume
reconvene
post.
at 3 o'clock
Yes, at 3 p.m.
with a fresh energy for more growth and more learning. ठीक है सर, 3 बजे मिलते हैं. Thank you. Bye, Tanvi.